gang violence and other kind of violence. So it is what it is.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Jenquavius Jackson, and y'all already know I'm demonetized and shadow banned in this bitch. So if you want to contribute, go to the Cash App, the PayPal, the GoFundMe, or join the Patreon. Also, don't forget to visit the merch store for all your favorite BGZM News 17 gear, including our exclusive Trump is a Blood t-shirt. Go fast before they sell out. They are already flying off the shelves, no cap. And remember, these super gremlins are on demon time.
Yo, what's good, BGZM News 17 family? I'm at the corner of Jesse Jackson and Marcus Garvey, and I got some bad news for you. As you can see, I lost my job. I'm out here living in cardboard boxes outside of boarded up vacant homes. YouTube said I'm done getting money out here in these streets. They even took my funky ass suit. So anything right now would help. So go ahead and hit that Cash App, hit that PayPal, hit that GoFundMe. Hell, cop the merch. Or if you want to make the long-term commitment to the Jenquavius Jackson Fund, join the Patreon so that I can continue to put out top-notch content each and every day. Also, check out the Rumble, where there is absolutely no censorship. Link in the description box below.
Hey, yo, ain't that nigga Jenquavius? Yo, I recognize.
No, that's not me no more.
Hey, yo, run your pocket.
Y'all tell me what they say.
Do the opposite of Antonio Brown and take over
What
your
more do you want from me?
So that means the snipers on the roof saw him for 20 minutes, probably shuffling with a gun. They're saying he had a detonator on him as well, and explosive devices in his car. We'll get to that later. But 20 minutes of time elapsed between the time he was spotted by snipers and when the shots were fired. The FBI director, Christopher Wray, stated there's no known foreign nexus, but no established motive as of now. The shooter used encrypted communication and had little to no social media presence. So, I mean, this is already starting to look like an inside job. He's using encrypted communications and had little to no social media. What type of 20-year-old do you know has no social media? I mean, even if they're not, you know, a good-looking guy, they're going to have a burner account where they're talking shit about people and all this kind of stuff. They're going at people on burner accounts and, you know, whatnot. So that's something that's a given. And the FBI is telling us, because they took over the investigation, pretty much we couldn't get into his phone at first. And then when we did get into his phone, there was nothing there, nothing to go off of, nothing to give us some type of motive. Okay. So there are live updates from CNN and NBC News. Not really interested in going through those. I want to show you guys the real deal of just how deep this rabbit hole goes. Okay. So just want to give you guys an idea. Let me pull this graphic up. I got some images. I also have, let me go to Rumble. I also have video of, you know, people with inside information saying that there was supposed to be somebody on the roof. The former, or not the former, but she should be the former, but the head of the Secret, or the Secret Service, the director of the Secret Service, Kimberly Cheadle, she basically claimed that they didn't have anybody on that roof because There was a slope. So let's, I just want to show you guys. And, you know, everybody's going crazy. So she's saying that they basically left the building unmanned because of safety concerns for a slope. And, you know, guys, we already saw the building, but we'll go over it again. Dude, the slope that the Secret Service, the infamous picture where the Secret Service snipers are, you know, right behind President Trump, which they weren't even the ones to take the kill shot on Crooks. But that slope that they were on was a deeper slope than than the roof that Crooks was on to take the shot. So let's read this article. Embattled Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle says she has no plans to resign, even after the stunning revelation that the agency decided not to guard the roof from which Thomas Crooks opened fire on former President Donald Trump because it was too slanted. Now, you know, the meme world is going crazy with this one. I found some really funny memes that I want to show you guys with this slanted roof theory, you know, and so just, I mean, you don't even have to be a geometrist or understand, you know, high level of geometry to know that the slope that these Secret Service agents, and they are Secret Service because you look at their vest and you can look at the back. It does say police, but then the fine print, if you look at the fine print, it says Secret Service. These Secret Service agents here, these guys are on a roof that's way more sloped than where they found Thomas Matthew Crooks at. Okay. So look at this slope. Look at this slope that the police are on. And then look at the slope Thomas Matthew Crooks is on. And here's the meme. Here's a bad slope. It's an elongated roof. It's a metal roof, just like this one. And if you know anything about roofing or just roofs in general, most roofs are gonna be flat. Sorry to tell you, unless you're in a New York skyscraper, or not flat, but slanted, my bad. But unless you're on a New York skyscraper and the roof is flat and they got the HVAC system on top, and you know, maybe they got some type of shingles that are on the roof floor on a skyscraper, or most of the time the roofs, if they're gonna be flat, it's a concrete roof, and you see, you know, they got HVAC on there and different you know, machines that maybe ventilate the building or electricity boxes on there, things like that. Most roofs are slanted, period. I mean, that I'm in my neighborhood right now. I'm looking at some roofs, and I mean, I got a neighbor, and he leaf blows the leaves because he got a lot of trees around his house. He blows the leaves off of his house, and he's walking, and he doesn't. I mean, he got what, he's wearing some Timberlands or something. It's not like they're special boots or anything. He's wearing some Timbs or some hunting boots, and he's blowing off his roof. So most roofs are slanted. Everybody knows that. Most roofs are slanted at a bigger angle than what Matthew Crooks was on. So this failure in intelligence is absolutely embarrassing for the country. And it shouldn't, this shooting shouldn't have been allowed to happen. This guy should have been apprehended a long time ago. I believe that there was probably a stand down order, allegedly. I believe there was a stand down order. This is only my personal opinion. I believe there was a stand down order 100%. I believe Secret Service was notified about this shooting, and they did nothing. They wanted it to happen. Some rogue elements of the Secret Service, or maybe even up to the director. And, you know, there's also reports coming out that the director of the Secret Service, Kimberly Cheadle, is being told by Alejandro Mayorkas to keep quiet, shut her mouth, and do what she's told on this one. So definitely sounds like a cover-up. That building in particular has a sloped roof at its highest point. And so, you know, there's safety factor that would be considered there that wouldn't want to put somebody up on a sloped roof, she told ABC News in startling admission. Okay, so I actually want to just introduce you guys to who Kimberly Cheadle is, the director of the Secret Service. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous what this woman stands for, what she's about. It's absolutely embarrassing to the country. There's a and you know, news reports are currently coming out that the Secret Service actually spotted the shooter on the roof 20 minutes before, which I already broke down for you guys. All right, but let's see. Okay, and this is her explanation. And so, you know, the decision was made to secure the building from inside. She told the outlet. Cheadle admitted the agency knew the building rooftop was a security vulnerability, but still opted not to position agents there, leaving it wide open for Crooks to take up an ideal sniper perch with an unobstructed view of Trump on stage. From the roof, Crooks had a clear line of sight to the GOP nominee with the AR-style semi-automatic rifle about 130 yards away. So this is one of the infamous images of Donald Trump after the shooting. He was shot in his ear, shot him right in his ear. And there are graphics that, you know, show how close of a call this was. This was complete divine intervention. But this is Kimberly Cheadle, guys. Kimberly Cheadle, the woke DEI hire for the head of the Secret Service. Woke DEI hire for the head of the Secret Service. Okay. Here's the roof. Doesn't look very dangerous to me. Everybody's just walking on it and it's flat as hell. Okay. And then she has a one-on-one interview, which I'll try and find the full interview. We can break it down. One-on-one, Kimberly Cheadle. Boom. Let's see. Okay, so there's the Forbes interview that she did as well. And they're not putting out, I don't know why they're not putting out the whole interview on these things, but
gang violence and other kind of violence.
So it is what it is.
what's good, Shadow Realm? It's a Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get into the video. All right, guys. So we have gotten major updates about this attempted assassination on rightful President Donald J. Trump. And I mean, things are getting really spooky. We've got a whole bunch of 3-letter agencies involved. We got the U.S. Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle stating, or I don't know if she stated, but the rumor has it she will resign Monday. She has also been called to testify in front of Congress. She has been called to testify in front of Congress, so she'll be doing that on Monday as well. If it is televised, I will try and bring that to you guys. So they want her to resign, which I believe that she has agreed to resigning. We'll just have to see on Monday, but the reports are that she has agreed to resigning. She has also been called to testify in front of Congress, which she has agreed to do. Initially, there were reports saying that she wasn't going to do it. Alejandro Mayorkas, the head of the Department of Homeland Security, actually was trying to get her not to do it. There's word on the street in the intelligence community that she has been told to keep her mouth shut. So I don't expect us to get much from her public hearing in front of Congress. But, you know, I just want to bring some new facts to you guys. There's so much that has come out. And now we are getting closer to the bottom of this, and we might even have evidence of Thomas Matthew Crooks, the would-be assassin, not only having two phones, okay? He had two phones. They've gone through his internet searches as well. They're going through his internet searches as well. And apparently his last search was a pornography website. You know, we've just got all this information coming out. They're saying that he has two phones. They're saying that he has 3 offshore accounts, overseas accounts, bank accounts, that is. So, I mean, I don't know a 20-year-old who has offshore accounts. I really don't. Unless he is, you know, some world traveler, some, you know, I don't know, high priest or prince or something like that, who is extremely privileged. That is not the case in Crooks' story. You know, we're also learning that the weapon that he used, he actually stored at the glass making company ARG in Butler, Pennsylvania. He stored the weapon at or AGR rather. He stored the weapon at the location. So, I mean, just to give you guys, what does this really look like, right? What does this really look like? This guy, he's on the roof of this building. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous, the story that we are being told, but all we can do is just take information as it comes in. So they're selling to us that he was on this building, right? And he somehow was able to store his firearm on the outside of the building, or, you know, somewhere near the building. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous how they're trying to sell it. But as you can see, here's the water tower that we talked about last time. And there's a lot of funny stuff coming out about this water tower. It was taped off by police after the shooting, moments after the shooting. There are eyewitnesses who said that, you know, he actually did, or they actually did see some people getting, you know, shooting from the water tower, somebody getting shot off the water tower. This is all just firsthand witness accounts. But I do want to, you know, just jog you guys' memory, because I do think it's extremely important, that aspect of it. I think it is highly irresponsible, which the FBI actually did this, which I thought was highly irresponsible. You know, it was highly irresponsible to rule out a second shooter theory. Okay. We are now learning that the ATF was actually on the scene. Allegedly, there was an ATF agent in a gray suit. There was an ATF agent in a gray suit that after the shooting happened, he climbs onto the roof and he requests the police and the first responders to send him pictures, maybe even video, just data from the incident. He claimed that he was ATF. This ATF agent has been identified. He did, you know, get text messages from local authorities pictures of the shooting and all this kind of stuff, as far as pictures of Matthew Crooks' body. We know that President Donald Trump was here. If you can see my cursor, we know that he was right here where I put this marker at. So he was right here approximately. And here there were Secret Service agents posted here on top of this roof. And they were actually on this side of the roof. If you look at the picture, they were on this side of the roof. And then there was a second counter sniper team allegedly located here. Okay. So this is the counter sniper team that would potentially have had the clear shot at Crooks. This counter sniper team 1, allegedly they couldn't see Crooks through these trees here, right? And so they're saying they couldn't see Crooks fully through these trees here, and he was on the other side of this roof. So he was slightly, you know how the roof has a slant on each side, and you know the slope on this roof was not as severe as the slope on the barn roof that the Secret Service agents were posted on. This roof was significantly, it had a significantly lower slope. So, I mean, you're probably looking at a 7% slope here, where this barn roof was maybe even a 21%, or not 21%, but a 21-degree angle right here, where you have like a 7-degree angle, and he's coming up this long roof. And apparently you can't really see over the horizon of this roof because it's sloping down just a little bit, and he could get in the perfect position where he can barely see you and you can barely see him. So they're saying that this this counter sniper team 2 team that was posted on the other side of the barn, they had the shot and they took the shot. This is what is being reported. And they're saying it was a 1 in a million shot. And I'll show you guys kind of what those shots looked like in these digital reenactments that we're getting there. So cool. But yeah, I personally don't think that we should rule out this water tower. I mean, this is the perfect sniper vantage point, and I'll show you guys why from a ground view. This is the perfect sniper vantage point. You climb up the water tower. It's the highest point within I mean, I would say it's damn near the highest point within a half-mile radius. So you're at a highest point here. You climb up this water tower, and you could pretty much go unsuspected or make it look like you are a Secret Service agent. He most likely potentially could have had tactical gear on, mimicking a Secret Service agent and whatnot. We also know that Kimberly Cheadle, she reached out to local police and asked them to man this building, man this company right here. And this company is AGR International Incorporated. We'll learn more about them later. But this company was recently sold, I think 3 months ago, and it was sold. In the chain of ownership is pretty interesting here, so we can get into that as well. But oh, I got a deer in my front yard. But the water tower would be the perfect vantage point. Now, personally, do I think that the shots actually came from the water tower, or some shots came from the water tower? Potentially. I don't know. I'm just speculating. This is all speculation. I'm not saying that this is a fact, but I'm saying it would be the perfect vantage point. You can climb up the water tower here. And if, you know, we can just go to the street view. You can climb up the water tower here. So you guys, you see this ladder right here. You see this ladder. I mean, it goes all the way up, and then there's what appears to be a ladder here as well. And you can get up here, and there's video of maybe a person or something moving from side to side from the highest point of this water tower, this point right here. And obviously he could have just been circling around as well. Could have been on the other side of the water tower, circled around here on this railing. It's obviously walkable. And then you have this ladder here. Now, this ladder is pretty high up, right? Like, I don't think you can just get up here, unless unless you are scaling the piping right here. But this ladder is pretty high up. I would say it's damn near 20 feet up in the air. So he might have had to have another ladder to get up there, maybe a rope or something. There was some way he was able to get on this ladder, get up to this water tower here, and scale this, get up to the highest point, and perch up there and take what appears to be, a perfect shot right over the building. You see how tall, in perspective, the building is. I mean, look at this. Look at this technology we have. We got Google Earth Street View, where we can see how tall this building is, and we can see, boom, look at these lights, right? And look at it perspective to the electrical poles, and you see that water tower. Holy, I mean, compare that to this. I mean, you got a perfect vantage point from the water tower. So maybe this person had something to do with it, who was up here. There are eyewitness accounts of saying that they did see somebody on the water tower, someone getting shot down from the water tower, potentially. So that would be even more interesting there as well. But okay, so let's get back to where we were at. All right, so we got the aerial view here. We know that there is access to the water tower. Know somebody could have scaled it. We know that Crooks was located on this side of the building. We know that Donald Trump was located between 130 and 150 yards. So this is a lined up shot, a perfect shot toward the president. Sight unobstructed. I mean, it's a perfect shot, and to think that the Secret Service would not have had this area covered is preposterous, and it shows a complete lack of just understanding, intelligence planning. It could be negligence or malpractice. This might have and I believe that it was it might have been intentional, right? And that is jaw-dropping, that someone would intentionally in 2024 make a blatant public assassination attempt on the rightful president of the United States. I mean, they would have blown his head off on national TV. And there's also some very weird and interesting things according to the media. Okay, you have the mainstream news media, CNN, actually covered Donald Trump's speech today, and they usually don't cover his rallies. They say, well, the dangerous rhetoric coming from Donald Trump, we usually don't cover his rallies, or we don't want to cover his rallies. And at some point, in his first campaign, they were covering the rallies, and then they would cut him off. Well, now Donald Trump is getting involved in some very bad language and rhetoric, and we're going to cut here and talk for a little bit, and then we'll bring you back the rally. So they don't usually cover these rallies, live stream them, but today they did, or January 3rd or July 13th, they did. They covered it. So that's very interesting. Why would they cover it here in Butler, Pennsylvania, this swing state, when CNN doesn't want to give Trump clout? They don't want to give Trump the benefit of doubt and show the crowds when he's speaking, because they like to take pictures hours before the rally or hours after the rally where people are leaving or first coming in, and they want to make it seem like these rallies don't go crazy. I mean, these rallies are like football games. They're filling up arenas. If Donald Trump had a 90,000 a 90,000 capacity arena like Stanford Stadium, then he would sell the whole thing out. And they don't even sell the tickets. It's free to go to the rallies, but it would be max capacity. So Donald Trump at this moment, I would go as far as to say he's one of the most important men in the world, and then one of the most famous men in the world. Now, here's what I personally believe as far as where the shots are coming from. I do believe that there was somebody on the water tower. I do believe that this water tower is a perfect vantage point, but I think, and it's a back. Basically Donald Trump's back is to this water tower, so he would never see it coming. Which is, I mean, this angle is frightening, right? That somebody was on it. There's woods right here. You can go. You can immediately hop off the water tower. However you get off, I mean, climb down rather, or you could, I mean, maybe the guy parasailed into the trees. It's not that crazy to think of, and it's something that could easily be done. But you jump off the water tower, or maybe the guy got shot down off of the water tower, which is what we have eyewitness testimony of a woman saying. So you can easily, boom, look at this trail into the woods. Look at this gap right here. It's dark. There's shadows casting. You can easily, boom, you got some tactical gear on, boom, 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 take it off, whatever, put it in a bag, hide here, all that. Everything is in play when we're dealing with the intelligence community, guys. Everything is in play. We don't even have the full story to JFK, and it's been hell. It's been 60 years, damn near. So we don't even have the full story to that. And I mean, you can't rule anything out, right? Everything is at play. There are U.S. senators who are coming out and saying, hey, we believe that there could have potentially been multiple shooters. We believe that this guy may not have acted alone. And now there are reports that an ATF agent who identified himself as an ATF agent, a man rather, who identified himself as an ATF agent, scaled the roof after the shooting and requested first responders, police, and whatnot to send him pictures and crime scene evidence to his cell phone. His cell phone number was given to first responders, and the congressman, I think it's I want to say Ron Johnson or something like that, but he's speaking on, and I'll show you guys this clip really quickly, and he's essentially saying that he reached out to this ATF agent and they went dark on him. They were replying at first. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you're trying to hit a bitch in the DMs, right? And you slide up on her story and then she liking the comment, she giving you play, she replying, you say, hey, beautiful, I like how you was, putting it down at whatever. And then she's like, oh, for real? Oh, yeah, appreciate it. And then you playing, oh, so how was your day? How's your day? Next day, you hit her up. Good morning. She replying and shit all fast. Good morning. Thanks for reaching out. And then, boom, she ghosts you. That's exactly what happened in this case with this man who is reporting himself out to be an ATF agent. I mean, this guy, he comes up there with a gray suit. People think he is people think that he is Secret Service. And apparently he didn't he didn't identify himself as the contrary. People are like, oh, are you Secret Service? They assumed he was Secret Service. So let's watch this clip really quickly. This is fascinating. I do want to show you guys, the water tower theory. Never keep this or never rule this out for sure. Never rule that water tower theory out. I believe there definitely could have been something going on with the water tower, but I'll tell you what I believe where the shots came from. Let's listen up.
And he kept standing there. I was like, you got to get down, boy. You got to get down. They're going to shoot you. Because if they would have had like a machine gun, they could have taken us all out. So then we laid there for a while. We saw different places where the gunshots were at. And then they got President Trump down, Secret Service did, and they took him out of there and got him off of the stage. And he was bleeding. And so then my son and daughter-in-law was back behind us, back behind the fence. And we was worried about them. We couldn't call them. And so we started trying to go after them then when they finally let us up. And they had been right by the fence where the other shooter was. There was one I heard in the water tower. There was one by the fence. And
one by the fence, one in the water tower.
And right by the fence where the other shooter was. There was one I heard in the water tower. There was one by the fence. And
Now, she said one I heard in the water tower, so maybe she didn't directly see that, but she heard there was one shooter in the water tower. So, I mean, just, you know, something to keep open-minded. But there actually is one woman in the red shirt who actually did say, yes, I saw a man get shot down from the water tower. Listen up.
And they had been right by the fence where the other shooter was. There was one I heard in the water tower. There was one by the fence. And still, obviously, initial reports.
And you heard how, you know, the reporter, I mean, she tried to shut that down ASAP. And still, obviously, initial reports. I mean, I get it. You know, I get it. I get it. Obviously, initial reports, of course. But, I mean, these initial reports are important as well. They really are. So let me find the woman in the red who testified as well. Not testified, but she was a witness. They're saying the water tower is very much an area of focus. This isn't the witness, but it's just more video of the scene.
They run into.
It almost looks like there could be someone up there. If you see this, and it could be the shadow. It could be the shadow, but it also could be someone standing right in front of the highest point of this water tower. So you see, it looks like this figure is moving a little, is moving further from this top vantage point.
It's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that said, take a
Now look at this. Look at this water tower. It's right here.
look at what happened.
And the shots, boom. Look, doesn't it look like this? And I'll make it full. It looks like, well, probably that probably works worse. It looks like there's some movement up there for sure. Just watch the water tower. This is great video.
A couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened. Oh, that chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Wow. Now it looks like he completely came away from this highest point. I mean, this is groundbreaking stuff, guys. Now look how separated. Now, I mean, I can't say this. I can't say this is a I can't say this is no shadow at this point, because this motherfucker, whatever this is, gets so far away from the center of the point of the water tower. Look at this. Holy shit. I know it's pixelated. But whew, that's some spooky stuff. That's some spooky stuff, man. But yeah, let's see. All right. Yeah, so yeah, if you look at, oh, here's another video of somebody who pulled up to the water tower. They walked up there. They said it's so easy to get up there. Watch this. Watch this. This is hilarious.
here's the water tower, the infamous water tower, and there's the glass factory research crap hole. So there we go. There's the ladder, right up the ladder. There we go. And then look, what do you see right there to the left of that ladder? That's another ladder. It goes all the way up.
So remember, guys, when I showed you this image from the street view, now this is absolutely fascinating. Shout out to the Patriots. Shout out to the Patriots who are going and visiting the site and doing their due diligence. I mean, this is amazing. It almost brings tears to my eyes, man, because, man, I mean, and you want to talk about the RNC speech, the RNC acceptance speech, just totally beautiful. Biden's out. Biden makes stunning decision to pull out of the 2024 presidential race. Now, and see, we all know the assassin. Now everything's lining up. The assassination attempt was Biden's last ditch effort, and even the mainstream news media put out articles saying, oh, well, because of the Secret Service, not the Secret Service, but the Supreme Court ruling, Biden has the right to take out Trump. He has the right to assassinate Donald Trump. And they were putting out articles. They were putting out articles about this. But the Washington Post just reported that Biden is 100% going to pull out of the race. Biden is 100. This is breaking news, guys. We'll get back to the water tower just quick. I just want to prove it to you. Boom. Biden steps aside as Democratic presidential nominee. It's over for Biden. Shout out to Larry for the $3 PayPal. Guys, hit the PayPal, hit the Cash App. I am demonetized, so that's the only way you can contribute to the channel, or you can cop the merch. The merch link is in the description box below. We got some good merch for you too, man. We got the Trump fight shirt. We already have the Trump fight shirt on the merch store right now, ready to go. We're gonna have hoodies coming out in the fall. Man, I mean, it's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be a huge movement. We are going to support the president, but I appreciate the rightful president, that is. I appreciate you, Larry, for the $3 not super trap, but PayPal.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hello?
We at?
Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!
Now, here's the thing that upsets me, though. If Biden can't run, then he can't be president. If Biden can't run, he cannot be president. Period. He can't be president. Okay? And now the Democrats are going to have an open, or it's not going to be open to the public, but it's going to be something that they do amongst themselves where they vote and whatnot. It's crazy. So he pulls out of the presidential race. Absolutely remarkable. We all saw this coming. I mean, it's crazy. This is crazy. All right, so let me just make sure. I just want to post this on Twitter. The breaking news. All right. Yeah, so it says U.S. President Joe Biden ended his re-election campaign on Sunday after fellow Democrats lost faith in his mental acuity and ability to beat Donald Trump, leaving the presidential race in uncharted territory. And in my personal opinion, this means that Trump just won. I mean, I don't see who they can put up against him that can beat him after everything, after all the things that he's gone through. All right, so let's get back to the water tower. So y'all see the water tower. I showed you how there's a ladder right here. And this right here, you can't really tell, right? You can't really tell what it is. Maybe I can move a little more to the side. Oop, let me go over here. But look at this. And as you can see, these trees, this was November 2023. So this street view is from November 2023. This was the perfect timing because look at this trail for the shooter. Holy shit. These trees, they grew out, obviously, in the spring and in the summer. But look at what it looks like in the winter time. I mean, there's no way you have cover now. And these, I mean, there's some right here that are pretty dense. But look at this opening. Look at this trail. Look how easy it is for somebody to boom, 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 fire shots down, scale the water tower, come over here, and just boom, walk right out. You can go into the more dense part of the woods, take all your gear out, put on some, street clothes in a duffel bag, walk on out. But look, it didn't look like there was a ladder on this part. It still doesn't really. And, some of it is kind of stripped out. But in this video, you can clearly see that there's a ladder.
Here's the water tower, the infamous water tower, and there's the glass factory research crap hole. So there we go. There's the ladder, right up the ladder. There we go. And then look, what do you see right there to the left of that ladder? That's another ladder that goes all the way up to the flat part on top where that silver thing is, where someone could easily have been standing, like the videos show that there was. It is pretty easy to figure out that this was not done correctly. There's the glass. Look at all these woods. Look at this huge patch of thick.
So wow, look. I mean, did they plant new shrubberies there? I mean, come on. Did they plant new shit there? Because these woods do not look as dense from the 2023 Google Street View. They just don't. And I know the bushes can grow pretty big. And then look, there's a fence around the water tower. People were referring to the fence around the water tower. So let's go on Whitestone Road and see it from a different perspective. So here we are. Here's the intersection. Here's access to the water tower. And the place where that video was taken, I think the guy was walking up from this angle. Yep. So this is exactly where he was at. He was walking up from this angle. And these are the bushes that appear to have grown up. Now, yeah, it looks like it could probably get pretty dense with the vegetation here. So, I definitely think so. But look at that. Perfect. Just boom, park your car, undercover car parked on this street. Or, I guess do these people have Ring cameras? Right? This one obviously doesn't. But there's got to be a Ring door camera on one of these streets. I mean, these look at these patriots right here. 211 Meridian Road. I mean, I'm not trying to put nobody out there, but holy shit. Did they see anything? These are questions that we need to know. I'm trying to read this yard sign. Can't really tell. Look at these patriots right here. I mean, who has a Ring door camera on this street? They got a screen door. Look, I can see the dog. So these people might know some things. I'd be talking to everybody on this street if I was FBI who's taking over the and then here's the access to the sewer. We can't rule anything out. Did this now? Holy shit. I mean, did this motherfucker go all the way up here onto the water tower, get to the highest point, take shots at the rightful president, Donald Trump? I mean, he could either climb down or parasail down. I don't know. Go through the woods from the back way, change clothes, pop the lid of this sewer and hop into the sewers. I mean, there's literally a manhole right here. He didn't even have to park his car at that point. Then that rules it out. Where's he going to park? In these people's yard? He didn't have to have a car. He went into he got access to the manhole. He comes out of the manhole and then he climbs the fucking water tower. He climbs up to the highest point and he has the perfect vantage point to rightful President Donald Trump during his rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. I mean, that's a theory. I'm not saying it's true. But any motherfucker with I mean, if you don't even have to visit the site. I've never been to Pennsylvania and I can see, oh, there's a perfect escape route. There's a manhole right here. And it wouldn't take much to get this bitch loosened up. And he pops up out of here. Walks up here undetected, unnoticed, or pops out the manhole, walks through the trees and the greenery here, climbs up, climbs down, hops back in the manhole. Wow. Nothing should be ruled out. Nothing should be ruled out. This is absolutely remarkable. And I mean, to me, this is the best plan. This is the best plan because, for one, Thomas Matthew Crooks, he was able to fly a drone. So they had lax security. There were no dogs. To sniff out weapons, explosives, or drugs in any way. There were no bomb dogs or anything like that. So, but if you thought that there were going to be dogs, you come out the sewer smelling like shit. I mean, that's your cover right there, right? You smelling like a fucking swamp possum. You go up there, you come back down undetected. Right? Take the clothes off. I mean, this shit gets spooky, folks. This shit gets spooky, folks. So there's definitely something going on with this water tower. The FBI should not rule it out. An independent investigative body should not rule it out. And now we see, okay, this is imagery from 2024. We see airborne imagery from 2024. This is all covered up. Look at how green this is, baby. Look at how green this is, man. Look at this trail. It's dark right here. That manhole is literally right here. Holy. Wow. I mean, this is giving me chills. It's giving me chills. Especially when you take into account the fallen firefighter, the fallen soldier, Corey Comparatore. Man, I mean, I hate that for his family. And thoughts and prayers go out to them. But this is deep, y'all.
Here's the water tower, the infamous water tower, and there's the glass factory research crap hole. So there we go. There's the ladder, right up the ladder. There we go. And then look, what do you see right there to the left of that ladder? That's another ladder that goes all the way up to the flat part on top where that silver thing is, where someone could easily have been standing, like the videos show that there was.
Yep.
You know, it is pretty easy to figure out that this was not done correctly. There's the glass. Look at all these woods. Look at this huge patch of thick woods.
Ooh, and this is something he didn't even notice. There's a manhole. There's the manhole. Look how close the manhole is to these woods. Jesus Christ. Look how close this manhole is to these woods, guys. It's right there in your face. You're going undetected, especially if he has some, all you got to do is have some camouflage gear, pop up out the manhole real quick. You obviously, boom, push it up a little bit, look around, nobody there. Thank goodness. Boom, pop out the manhole, go into the woods. You got camouflage gear on. You take it off. Now you're in your tactical gear. Now you're going toward the water tower. You climb the water tower in your tactical gear with your rifle. Then you go up to the water tower. You get back on. Boom, boom, bap. You don't even have to get your camouflage gear back on. You just have to get it so that it doesn't leave evidence. And then you hop back in the manhole. Look how much greenery there is. It's so easy to do.
The thick woods. He shot through that, by the way. On the other side is the same oak trees. You can see them right there. You see them? Yeah, the guy shot through that. He shot through that. He shot through those oak trees to get on our snipers, because that's where the first shot hit, was our snipers. These people. Oh, look, all these people here. Someone had to have a ring cam at this spot. I mean, yeah. This is ridiculous. Look, this guy lives here. This is so ridiculous. Right. What a joke. Look how easy this place is to get into. Look at that. There's not even barbed wire on that side. Oh my God, what an absolute joke. There's the other ladder. He was right on the left side of that little thing. He was right on the left side of that silver thing. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, now let's talk about this interview here. Now, this woman seems very coherent, very aware, very sure of her story. This gives more credence to the water tower theory.
Sharpshooter shot to the left. He killed the gentleman in the water tower here.
Woo! The sharpshooter shot to the left. He killed the gentleman in the water tower here. She even used the term that we talk about on Black Gen Z. She even used the term that we talking about, the gentleman. She calls the man a gentleman. She calls the man a gentleman. And they expect us to believe that this dude, Thomas Matthew Crooks, this weirdo 20-year-old loner, nerd ass motherfucker with an associate's degree coming out of high school, acted alone. Yeah, yeah, we not buying it. We not buying it.
Now, when I called my husband at home, who's watching TV, he said, I thought Trump hurt his ear when he went to the ground. But he said, no, on TV they showed before Trump hit the ground, the ear was bleeding. So that sharpshooter went across, Trump turned his head, his ear must have been nipped, and it killed somebody in the stands over to the left.
Could you see anyone injured besides the blood on the former president?
All I saw was the gentleman from Beaver County who spoke earlier in the day. He was running for the state house representative, Elmore. I know his name.
I mean, she is on point. This woman must be protected. Somebody reach out to this woman. Who is this woman? Let's identify this woman. Let's reach out. Let's protect her. She's on point. She remembers who spoke. She remembers their names. She remembers all of it.
He had a white shirt on, and I saw him come from that left stands where the people were mostly shot. I think there were several. They said 3 medevacs left here. Blood was down the right side of his. He wasn't shot, but you could see that he was next to somebody who must have been bleeding profusely, because he either helped them and ran, rubbed against them, or tried to get them help or something. It was covered, so I knew that he was near somebody. That was my first indication that somebody was actually shot. I saw his blood on his shirt.
Aaron, when did you realize that, hey, this might not be fireworks, this might be something else?
And my thing is, shot the gentleman in the water tower. As an interviewer, what do you mean the water tower? Did you actually see somebody get shot from the water tower or shoot shots from the water tower? That is what you should be focusing on.
And they got Trump down on the ground. We were just so concerned that he wasn't hit.
So guys, I'm gonna put a poll in the chat really quickly. Who do you think is gonna take President Biden's spot? Who do y'all think is gonna take President Biden's spot as the Democratic nominee? Okay, let me know who y'all think. I'm thinking I mean, they've been floating Hillary. So who will take President Biden's place? All right, they're floating Hillary making a return. They're saying Gavin Newsom. They're saying, I mean, Kamala Harris. She's pretty much not. I mean, they're trying to push her out. Gretchen Whitmore, which she's got some scandals behind her too. I hope I'm spelling that right. Let me know who y'all think is going to replace Biden. All right, let me know who y'all think is going to replace Biden. Let's get back into the video.
We couldn't. It happened so fast. You know, it's really hard to process it. You know, I guess if you have it on your camera to see the exact minute, you can tell. But when he got up, he did not look bad at all. What I've heard coming out here is now they feel that there was 2 shooters on both sides. They got the one on the tower on this side, but the one on the right side they never got.
They got the one on the tower, but the one on the right side they never got. So I'm trying to figure out what she means by the right side.
So that's why they wanted us to leave immediately, because they thought there's still a shooter out there somewhere. So there could be in these woods around Butler. And
so you hear her talking about the woods.
I feel sad for our country. I feel sad for everybody. You know, I mean, you don't like the guy, don't vote for him. Don't kill him. We love the guy. We're going to vote for him.
Yep.
You know, I mean, what is up with his violence? I mean, it's just terrible. I mean, I just wish that people that I'm glad that guy's no longer with us anymore in that tower.
Woo! I think she saw a man in the water tower, because she referenced that water tower multiple times, and she said, "I'm glad that guy is no longer with us in that tower." She saw a man in the water tower.
Vote for him. You know, I mean, what is up with his violence? I mean, it's just terrible. I mean, I just wish that people that I'm glad that guy's no longer with us anymore in that tower, and I hope they get the other one too. And I hope they don't nick him. I hope they get him. He's down.
Wow. Holy. Now, I mean, that's impactful testimony. That's impactful testimony right there. And that's first eyewitness account. I mean, a lot of people are floating the water tower theory. I think that it's plausible. I think it's definitely possible. But let's get into more details about this ATF agent. Who is this guy in the gray suit who comes to the scene of the crime immediately after the shooting, telling first responders, officers, and other, governmental agencies to send them evidence of the crime scene?
You sent a letter to Attorney General Merrick Garland, Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, and Director of the FBI, Christopher Wray, about this epic failure of security. Can you walk us through what you'd like to see and your preliminary findings of your investigation, which has now become bipartisan? Is that correct?
Correct. I spoke with Chairman Blumenthal, the chairman of the Permanent Subcommittee Investigation. I'm the ranking member. He completely agrees with me that we must start doing transcribed interviews with all the witnesses now, while memories are fresh. So that's really good news from my standpoint. My staff immediately started reaching out to local law enforcement. We've gathered a fair amount of information. Again, we're just scratching the surface. But a couple of things that we found out. For example, the Secret Service did not even attend the 9 o'clock security meeting with local law enforcement.
Wow. So they were supposed to attend a 9 a.m. security meeting before the rally on July 13th, and they did not attend. They also lied and said that the responsibility of manning that glass company was the responsibility of the local police, and the local police commissioner vehemently rejected that, and I'll show you guys that as well. But Kim Cheadle, she's basically covering up and she's lying and saying, oh yeah, well, that responsibility to man the building that Crooks was killed on, and shot and took the shots at Trump from, that was supposed to be manned by local police. And then she goes and says, oh, well, we actually did have people inside the building instead of on top because the slope was too steep. That's where you get the good slope, bad slope meme from, because the slope was too steep. We had somebody inside, not outside. And that just doesn't make sense, because the barn that the Secret Service agents were on behind Trump, that slope was a steeper incline than the slope on the roof that Crooks was shot on, and that he took the shots at Trump from. So Secret Service is saying, well, we didn't have anybody on the roof. We had people inside the building. But if you have people inside the building, then how was Crooks able to leave his firearm? He left the rifle there, and he left it for himself, so he didn't have to sneak it in through Secret Service security and the metal detectors. But he was able to bring in a rangefinder. He was able to bring in this rangefinder. And then they're also saying he went to Home Depot, got a 5-foot ladder. I don't know how the hell he got that in. Did he leave that as well? Apparently he used that ladder to climb on top of the HVAC system and to get onto the roof. That's what they're saying right now. Okay, President Biden endorsed Kamala Harris. Wow. He endorsed Kamala, so Kamala's in, Biden's out. But, you know, they're saying that this guy scaled the building with the 5-foot ladder, and then you can also see a 10 to 12-foot ladder on the side of the building. We can show that graphic again. Let's keep going.
Pretty well put in charge the Butler County law enforcement to coordinate things. Law enforcement wasn't even on the same channel. So
let's just recap. The Secret Service was supposed to man the roof. They didn't because the incline of the slope, which is bullshit. They said they had men inside of the building. Now, remember that. They had men inside of the building. They had men inside of the building. It was either local police with Secret Service or whatnot. I don't know which law of enforcement officials were there, but it could have been local police or Secret Service. And the local police are saying they strictly had traffic duty. So it had to be Secret Service or, which we're finding out now that Trump didn't even have a full Secret Service detail. He had many Homeland Security agents. They weren't actually Secret Service. They were Homeland Security agents on his detail. So could it have been those Homeland Security / Secret Service agents that were the ones that were posted inside the building? Remember, Kimberly Cheadle confirmed that they did have people inside the building, not on top of the building. So remember that fact, because that is going to it's going to also come into play when we're discussing the second shooter theory that should not be ruled out. The second shooter theory. It should never be ruled out. The second shooter theory. And the FBI has tried to rule it out, but online sources are completely debunking that. And we have audio forensics of the shots as well, and we're going to analyze that too. So let's get into it.
Just to be clear, Senator, that was a 9 a.m. meeting on July 13th, the day of the shooting.
Correct.
Secret Service
Secret Service has been there for site visits, weren't even there. Kind of turned over.
So obvious neglect.
Some of the outer perimeter stuff to local law enforcement. They weren't even on the same security channel. So the sniper and SWAT teams weren't on the same channel as the patrol officers.
That's wild. So that's why there was probably there was absolutely a lack in communication of, okay, there's a suspicious man coming in. They reported that at 3 p.m., around 3 p.m. approximately. Suspicious man coming in with a rangefinder. Keep an eye on him. That might be Secret Service comms. And then the police or SWAT team say, hey, we got a man scaling the roof. And then Secret Service ends up getting the message 26 minutes approximately before the shots were fired. And there's a miscommunication as to if they should have taken him out or not or whatnot. But I mean, obviously just poorly handled, poor coordination on the law enforcement agencies. And I think the bulk of that poor coordination was on the Secret Service / Department of Homeland Security.
And they were on the same channel as Secret Service. So they had to relay things. One of the things we found out is that, we've got a more detailed timeline. This picture is now on the internet, but a photo was taken by the local sniper team in the AGR building at 5:14 of Crooks. So again, we had pictures.
So there was a picture taken of him at 5:14 from the local AGR building. So they had pictures of him 5:14. That's an hour, approximately an hour before the shooting that took place at 6:11 p.m.
This guy, why was he intercepted? There's so many
clear,
unanswered questions here.
The pictures were taken at 5:14, and he was shot at 6:11.
Correct.
Okay.
And again, we've got a more so I'm going to be issuing a preliminary report. It's preliminary. It's just scratching the surface. We're primarily going to release that report to solicit more eyewitness testimony. If you took video, save it. Make a backup copy. We can glean things in terms of audio and in terms of, where the shots came from. Was it one rifle? Was it more than one? I've seen some pretty interesting video on the internet by experts that certainly calls into question what the FBI is telling us about a single shooter. Again, we're only just beginning this, but it is so important that people who saw things, that have information, they preserve it, they memorialize what they saw, because memories change over time. They can be influenced. So it's good news on a bipartisan basis. Chairman Blumenthal and I are dedicated to taking transcribed interviews with law enforcement and just members of the general public that were at that rally. No matter how insignificant your piece of information might be, it might lend to provide the full story of what happened, because the American public needs to understand what happened here.
So I know that, I tweeted out yesterday the fact that you're doing this bipartisan investigation, and I put on your email. You have an email that you want people to send information to, and I know that you'll tweet that later. But I got to get to this. After the shooter was taken down by Secret Service, the local law enforcement, and I know this from some of your preliminary comments, your preliminary findings, started taking pictures of the dead body, right? Can you tell us what happened then?
Correct. So that sniper team that was in the AGR building, they're the first ones that went up on the roof. They were the first to encounter the dead assassin at that point in time. Later on, other people joined them, and somebody told them to send the pictures they had taken to an ATF agent, which I think is very strange.
Yes. We how the hell is ATF involved in this? How are they already on the grounds?
We called up that ATF agent. That individual said that he was with ATF, and now he's gone dark. We've also reached out to the Secret Service agents in charge on the ground. All we're getting there is the runaround. So we are getting information from local law enforcement, and we appreciate that. But unfortunately, federal law enforcement agents, they're just saying, well, go through your congressional liaison. Again, that's going to be unacceptable. I wish I could rely and have faith in the FBI and the Secret Service to do a truthful accounting of this, but that's not been my experience with the Russian collusion.
Yep, we don't trust them.
Hoax, and for years, dealing with federal law enforcement, we need completely separate and independent investigations, and it has to start now.
So are you questioning whether or not there was a...
Oh, you send a Cash App, Maine? Okay. Let me see. So we got Maine TV. He says we live with the $10 Cash App. I appreciate that.
Oh, say less.
All right. Anybody else send it? Just put it in the chat, because I don't know my notifications.
Second shooter? Is that what you're questioning? Or if the shooter had a different gun?
I saw an extremely convincing video online. I know it's all over the place. There were 3 distinct shots early on, followed by another 5 in more staccato, more rapidly fired. And then the final one, which we believe took the shooter out. How do you explain that? I don't know. I'm not an expert. But the individual putting that video out says it clearly shows that there are at least 3 different weapons fired that day. Again, I don't know, but we can't trust the FBI and the Secret Service to do an honest and open and transparent investigation. That's just a very sad fact. So we've got to rely on other sources independent to really find out what the truth of the matter was on Saturday, July 13th.
So let me go back to what happened after the shooter is dead. You just mentioned somebody goes up. So this is the guy in the suit who walks up the ladder, goes to the roof, and tells the locals, send those pictures to this cell phone. Who was that person?
Well, again, I'm not sure that was the guy. I think another county law enforcement gave the number to the other county law enforcement, the snipers, to send the text. Some guy in a suit walks up the ladder. They believe you Secret Service. I'm not sure whether they gave credentials, but that's part of again, Maria, this is so preliminary. I'm issuing this. I'm providing this information, a much more detailed timeline to prompt others to come forward. We need to complete this picture. We have a lot of puzzle pieces to fill in here.
Is it odd to you that the locals were being told to send the pictures to the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Agency, ATF? Where does ATF come in?
The oddity starts with the fact that local law enforcement were just tasked with securing the perimeter, told to go cover that AGR building, not really told where to set up. So they set up on the second floor. They went to that AGR building at 10:30 in the morning. So they were stationed there well in advance. You know, they noticed this suspicious character at 5:10. They took a photo of him at 5:14. The president was shot at 6:11. You know, so again, an hour has passed. You know, again, they don't communicate. They didn't have communication, same channels with their law enforcement patrol officers. They weren't in communication with the Secret Service other than going through the Butler County Communication Center. So again, it's everything you would assume about Secret Service protection of a former president was not true. It didn't happen. It's just baffling to me. It should baffle the American public. That's why we need to find the answers and find out what actually happened here.
Wow. Amazing. And he was briefed. He was actually briefed with other congressmen by Kimberly Cheadle on the matter. All right. So this is giving more credence to the second shooter theory. The mystery ATF agent has now gone dark. Okay. And he probably used a burner phone, gave a fake name, all this type of stuff, you know. Let's see. Also, we have an audio breakdown of what really happened and how many shots were actually fired. We have a audio expert who's going to give us a briefing or understanding of just how this thing actually was working. All right, I just want to let me just find it really quickly. I mean, we have other people coming out, other witnesses. Yep, we saw the Biden report. Shout out to the proverbial beast for giving that. We saw the Biden report. Now watch this video here.
Okay, hello everyone. George Webb here, following up on our water tower story, our Clairton story as well. Our Clairton, Clairton. If you remember in my earlier episode this morning, we drew a line basically between the two people that were victims, these trees being the victims. And we traced the line and went to this water tower area, not over toward the low shooter perch of Crooks. So indicating a second shooter.
Woo! So he's basically saying from the angle at which one of the attendees of this rally was shot, it leads back to the water tower, not the roof of the AGR building.
We didn't really go into much into the victims here. We didn't go into the victims much, but one of them, well, it turns out there was a whole Pittsburgh police section. There was a whole Pittsburgh police section to the event, at the Trump event, 10 officers being sent from the Pittsburgh section. And what's even more interesting is those folks trained at the Clairton facility. Not only did the Pittsburgh contingent that was injected into this Butler event train there, but also ICE, the folks that do the border patrol and so forth, and then also DHS trained at that facility.
Wow.
And not only that, but also simulations were run at that facility for this shooter incident. For, again, this idea of live exercise at the Clairton facility. Not only that.
So, in all these government involved attacks, they always do like trial runs or whatnot beforehand. Very, very weird stuff going on here for sure.
There's ties with Hollywood to the Clairton facility. Deer Hunter, we talked about in the last film, was actually filmed in Clairton at the Clairton facility. And we know that there are Hollywood connections. We know there are Hollywood connections, as you remember, with the Rails Brothers. The Rails Brothers winning winning an Academy Award. And again, the connections to Robert De Niro and the Rails Brothers keep coming back in our story over and over again with these CIA stories, these CIA crime mob stories, the partnership of the CIA and the mob. So here we have more metadata, which talks about this scenario, this two-shooter scenario being rehearsed potentially at the Clairton facility. One, of course, is going to be Crooks here on this position. This actually could have been a place you could have done the rehearsal if we would just go down this road a little bit and go 140 yards out from the corner of that building, and then this water tower being another 50 yards beyond. This actually could have been a place where you could have done a rehearsal as well. I don't know if this kind of configuration exists in Clairton, but the key here again is we see these live exercises that tend to give us a premonition or a foreshadowing, foretelling of what's going to happen in the future. And by looking at the live exercises that are run, we can get an idea pretty clearly of what may happen in terms of real life events. So we know Crooks is involved in Clairton. We now know these 10 police officers where the victims are. We now know these 10 police officers where the Pittsburgh section. And it looks like the section that wasn't Trump's section, but the Pittsburgh section was the old scores section. It was where there were some old scores to be settled. Could have even been Compatore. His uncle Fruman, his step-uncle Fruman, was related to Mark Fruman of the OJ trial from yesterday's in Sabre, Pennsylvania, through the memorial service. We now know that his uncle, step-uncle, was related to Mark Fruman with the OJ trial. So that's another one of those mass formation psychosis events. Again, I don't want to pick on the Rails Brothers being a part of this Mossad mafia or a part of the mafia that creates these mass formation psychosis events and then turns around and makes movies about them to capitalize on them financially. But they just won the Oscar, So I'm not, we're not going too far here in our extension with the connection to the Chicago mob and Korshak. The other interesting twist to all of this story, in addition to the rehearsals at the Clairton facility and the old scores that seem to be settled in the Pittsburgh section, we have these four of the motorcycle cops are wounded. So it should be easy to get their names. And again, you have this kind of cook's broth or too many cooks in the kitchen confusion that seems to be the recurring theme in all of these shootings. He said, she said, and that's kind of the excuse that tends to be put out with these events. We'll keep following the events here, but the connections just keep coming up. The Rails Brothers with the Danaher, you remember the pump and dump. They're getting into all of the detection technologies around COVID, with all the pump and dump schemes with Danaher. And now we have crossover between the Danaher executives and the American Glass research executives with knowledge. That building that the shooter, Crooks, shot from, which is now being an FBI crime site where they're going into all the computers and extracting all the information from the computers, all the research with these self-extracting thumb drives. That was just sold 4 months ago to Raytheon.
Wow.
So this is, there's some industrial espionage going on in the background here as well. We'll keep following it for you here in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Wow. That's crazy. So he's talking about some spooky stuff. Major corporations potentially being involved in this. I have not looked into that part enough, so I can't really speak on it. But I definitely want to highlight that there is potential for a second shooter. 100%. 100%. Here's another interview.
First crack of the gunfire, and I just screamed, "It's the sniper! It's the sniper!" And he was firing down toward the water tower.
That's what we're hearing.
Down toward the water tower.
And yeah, and then at that same exact moment, there was a spray from the right side of the stage that I thought was some type of gas, like, or not gas, but smoke.
And that was the hydraulic system that was, it was held up by some tractor. I'll show you guys.
Sure. You know, lined up front. And he said it was, he heard it was gunfire hitting the hydraulic on the tractor.
Yeah. So it was a hydraulic on the tractor, and you can see when that shot went off, that tractor go and it's blowing a whole bunch of smoke.
Gunfire was coming toward the stage.
Wow.
And then a few minutes later, there was a couple more shots down the hill, and that's when they started flooding and pushing everybody out.
Yeah, so that's an interview from the New York Post. I want to see if they have that video of the hydraulic system getting shot. Might be able to pull that up a little later. But, you know, here's just more security footage of Crooks being spotted an hour before the shooting. This one's pretty loud, so let me turn it down. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, that's weird as hell. That's weird as hell. How is he just able to just, you know, be there? Let's see if I can get the image of the hydraulic system. Here's another guy who speaks on, oh yeah, we saw this one, but we can play it again. Just more witness testimony. This one is the famous BBC interview.
And watch and listen to the rally, right? We couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up, and probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here. I have no idea, you know. But we noticed the guy crawling, you know, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, you know, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle. We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? You know, like they didn't know what was going on. You know, we're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. You know, he's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for, you know, 2-3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling the police and the Secret Service?
We were telling the police. We were pointing at him for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see
binoculars?
Could they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here? I mean, this is not a big place.
Did you see? I mean, obviously, everyone when the shooting started, everyone was very panicked. Did you see what happened to him at all?
Oh yeah, they blew his head off.
Okay, sorry.
Secret Service blew his head off.
Okay, just be careful because we don't quite know who's watching, but you're pretty sure they shot the guy.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
You saw that happen?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And did you see them go up to him afterwards, or?
They crawled up on the roof. They had their guns pointed at him, make sure he was dead. He was dead, and that was it. It was over.
All right, so you heard that. That pretty much supports the original Crooks acted alone theory, which is fine. But here is pretty much a layout of this is Crooks, who is blurred out, deceased, his gun very far away from him, which I don't know. Doesn't make much sense when you get shot by a sniper. Your gun doesn't fly 10, 15 feet away from you. And if it did, it wouldn't fly laterally. It would probably slide down this deathly slope here, right? It would slide down or something like that. It wouldn't, okay, you're shooting this way, and then you get shot and your firearm goes all the way over here. I don't know. I can't buy that. Here's a SWAT ladder, the famous SWAT ladder that everybody thought that he actually had. But in reality, his ladder's over here on top of this little HVAC system. He gets on this roof. He climbs over here, and then he has a clear vantage point at the president. Here are some depictions of potential bullet trajectory. I'm not confirming these bullet trajectories, but this is what they're saying is the first shot. This is the shot that, you see that famous video of the Secret Service agent, like he kind of bucks up from his gun as if he got shot or something like that, or somebody shot at him. He kind of dodges back. They're saying that this is the trajectory that, came at him, which I'm not confirming these trajectories at all. There's an official report from MSNBC or NBC rather that we can talk about as well. And then here's the water tower trajectory. This is what people are saying actually hit the ear of Donald Trump. Here's the second shot at Trump. Hits the hydraulic line potentially. And then they have this yellow line right here going to the fire chief, Corey Comparator. Here's counter sniper team 1. They're saying their line of sight was blocked by these trees here, right? But look at all these trees toward the water tower. It's a perfect vantage point. And they're saying the line of sight was for counter sniper team 1 was blocked by this tree. Counter sniper team 2 had an impossible shot allegedly because of the slope on the roof. Now you see this second shot at POTUS possibly hitting the hydraulic line. This shot right here that they're detailing, this is important because remember, we know that Kimberly Cheadle had agents inside the building, but they weren't on top of the building. So what if there were some Homeland Security / Secret Service agents or whatever 3-letter agencies that allowed or participated in shooting at the president, and they shot from this window here? That is a theory that I am very much leaning toward. You see this window right here. I don't know if how far I can zoom into it. If this gets bigger for you or not. No. But there's a window right here where this bottom yellow line trajectory is coming. And this is all alleged. But look at this window. It's a perfect shot at the president. And yes, it would be a little upward trajectory, but that would still match a 6-foot-tall firefighter standing up. He's standing up and being shot. It matches the upward trajectory that would have hit Corey Comparator. So I definitely believe there's something going on with the water tower theory. And then I also believe that there were Secret Service agents that was confirmed by Kimberly Cheadle. There were Secret Service agents inside the building. What if the Secret Service agents, who hate Trump, they have TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, and they're part of the plot. Maybe they're getting paid off or whatever. Or that fake ass ATF agent who came up on the roof to confirm that Crooks was dead. Maybe he's the shooter. He's in a gray suit. He's walking around the building like he's Secret Service, and then he gets into this room right here in this warehouse. Maybe it's enclosed. I don't know what the interior is looking like, but maybe it's a room that he can close the door behind him, get in there, and take the shots at the president right where it seems like the angle is coming from Crooks. So you notice Crooks, but you don't notice the guy who is in the window. And if you look, the FBI is actually cleaning off the windows of the crime scene. You'll see, and people are making a fuss about this because it's weird as fuck. They're like, I don't know if them niggas pressure washing the crime scene. That's what it looks like. They're pressure washing the crime scene. Let me see. And somebody captured that. And obviously, if you Google search it, you can't find a lick about it. Google search it, you can't find it. We'll find it on X real quick. All right, FBI crime scene. Let me pull that picture up for you guys. I mean, what the fuck? Oh my God. I mean, you can't make this shit up. The FBI is completely compromised and corrupt. It's ridiculous. They're spraying off the windows of the crime scene. He's spraying the windows. This is a crime scene. What are you doing? You want to preserve the crime scene for as long as possible. We're shutting everything down. We're taping everything off. Caution tape everything. And they're spraying down the windows of the crime scene. I've never seen an FBI agent pressure wash a crime scene. Never seen it in my life. And we cover a lot of crime scenes here. I've never seen anybody come to the crime scene with a pressure washer. Right? That draws major alarms. Why is the FBI participating in covering it up? And basically they're saying, oh, they're cleaning off blood and da 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 da. After, yeah, bullshit. Bullshit. I mean, it's crazy. And why is the FBI on that dangerous ass slope? Why is FBI on that dangerous sloped roof? So let's watch this little clip. It's really quick, 45 seconds before we get into the bulk of it and where we're going to get really 100% confirmation of the second shooter theory. Dan Bongino is speaking on just the behind the scenes, and this guy is ex-Secret Service. This guy knows what he's talking about. Ex-NYPD, all that stuff. Very thorough, experienced brother here. Let's listen to what he's got to say.
So I was just showing Tucker some material from an unimpeachable source, let's just say, on the matter. That post, according to my source, that roof was supposed to be a police post. It was supposed to be someone there. They're now making up excuses, saying the pitch of the roof. My source says to me, no one knows why the post didn't show up. But so that's a nonsense story they're putting out in the media. And I was also told that the Secret Service director has been given instructions from the administration and the DHS secretary. You want to keep your job, you'll keep your mouth shut about this. They're not putting that out there, but if you get those site post logs and those police instructions, and there was a post on there and they didn't show up and no one checked, Someone could have got your dad killed within millimeters. So I was just showing Tucker some material.
So yeah, and Don Jr. was there. That's why he said your dad. Now we have irrefutable audio evidence of there being a second shooter. I just want to show you guys some diagrams of how the mainstream media is saying the shooting went down. Let me just make sure I got that here. Okay. And I'll see if I can find let me find this really quickly. I'll see if I can find the counter sniper team 1 reacting. Let's see. Okay, also we have the hydraulic system being shot, just confirming that the hydraulic system on the tractor was shot. If you look here.
The chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that said, take a look what happened.
Look, now look at the hydraulic system. It got shot, and then you see this crane right here is dropping, and it's holding up a speaker. Boom. So you see that. And that was the final counter sniper team shot right there. So we'll analyze that that audio as well very shortly here. I just want to show the reenactment. Let me see. NBC Trump shooting reenact. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so this is what CBS is saying. I guess it was CBS News. All right. So they're saying that counter sniper team 1 was here. Their view is blocked off by this tree. Crooks has a direct shot at President Trump here. Counter sniper team 2 makes a difficult shot 570 feet away. So as you guys can see, boom. Here's the shot on stage, but it still is incomplete as far as how these others got shot, and we're gonna have to wait for ballistics to come out on that one. But I thought I had that video. Let me see if I can. Maybe it was actually on CBS Twitter. All right, let me see if I can find it real quick, guys. I got so many links pulled up. I don't see it on their Twitter. The reenactment. Here's what their initial reports of what they were showing. Right? Remember this diagram? So you got an attendee. This is where Corey was apparently killed here. Attendees injured here. You got the backstage, you got the bleachers, you got the Trump on stage. Let me see. CBS Trump shooting. Because they did have a video that I wanted to show, an animated video. Let's see. Okay, I can't find that video. I know I got it saved somewhere, so I just have to go back and find it. But I'll pull it up once I let's see. I'll pull it up once I get the video. Sorry. Man, what, my dog's acting up. Hold on. All right, so let's go to the audio analysis while I pull up these other videos. This one is a pretty good one. I really want to show you guys. This is one of the main things that I want to show you guys. Oh crap! Did I lose it? All right, hold on. Dude, what are you doing? Dre. Sorry, guys. My dog is being a little rowdy right now. Hold up. This man gonna turn the computer off. All right, so here's a reenactment of the counter sniper team 2 taking the shot at Crooks.
That looks just like him. Jesus Christ. Well, it looked like him at some point in his life. Oh. That looks more like him now.
Sheesh.
So you did clip the glasses.
Oh, really? Okay, good. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I was aiming for the glass.
So they're just trying to, I guess, reenact maybe how his body would have reacted. Here's also somebody who was at the gun range with him before in one of their shooting classes. Let's go back.
And they said, well, you had taken a class at the Keystone Shooting Center, and the person that you were in the class with was the person that had shot Donald Trump. When I went for the class, I was surprised that the class was only one other person and me. He was quite young, very quiet, seemed friendly, nice kid. So we went into the range and each took our booths. We were right next to each other. And he had already was loaded and firing before I had gotten my gun even loaded. So I was kind of surprised at that, you know. And so I figured he was experienced. And he ended up doing better than me because on the further distances, he had shot one area so many times that it blew out a hole in the target. Towards the end of the classroom discussion, you know, we really kind of ran out of training stuff to talk about. We started talking about other things. And eventually I got into politics. He wasn't saying anything. He remained quiet. So I was kind of, you know, waiting to see what this guy would do because it was getting a little tense there. And he never said a word. He just sat there, kind of smiled, looked, and didn't say anything. So I was surprised at that, you know, not knowing what was going to happen, you know, in the future. But even then, I was kind of like, you know, how come this guy isn't saying anything, yay or nay? I couldn't believe it. I couldn't even have a conversation for the first 10 seconds because I was just stunned. So they asked me a few questions, you know, I told them what I knew, and you know, they asked me, you know, if he had said anything unusual or did anything unusual, what he had with him and stuff like that. Family lost their father. Wife lost her husband. You know, he was trying to protect his family. So, you know, this person not only wanted to assassinate Donald Trump, he didn't care who else he hurt along the way. It chills thinking about who I was sitting next to. If he was that deranged, who knows what he would have done inside the range if he felt like it, you know. He could have shot us. So it was disturbing, to say the least. Well, I think it would have been a complete disaster. I mean, if that would have been successful, that would have thrown the entire election into chaos, thrown the country into chaos.
Yes, indeed. So that's definitely a factor at play. Very frightening stuff. Oh, here's also evidence of an inside job. Alejandro Mayorkas. Essentially, Donald Trump's team has been asking for extra Secret Service security for 2 years now. Alejandro Mayorkas said that they had never gotten a request for additional Secret Service support, and he lied about it. He lied about it. So let's get into this.
And I sincerely appreciate the clarity on this. I did want to ask you, because this has popped up. Republican Congressman Mike Walls, he said on social media on Saturday, and I'm going to read this for you because it does talk about you, Secretary. I have very
Look how many times he's blinking. This motherfucker is nervous as hell. Look how many times he's blinking. I mean, I only blink like that when I'm talking or when I'm reading from a teleprompter. He's not even speaking. He's blinking 100 miles per hour.
and I sincerely appreciate the clarity on this. I did want to ask you, because this has popped up. Republican Congressman Mike Walls, he said on social media on Saturday.
What the fuck? Have you ever seen anybody blink this many times? Come on.
And I sincerely appreciate the clarity on this. I did want to ask you, because this has popped up. Republican Congressman Mike Walls, he said on social media on Saturday, and I'm going to read this for you because it does talk about you, Secretary. I have very reliable sources telling me that there have been repeated requests for stronger Secret Service protection for President Trump denied by Secretary Mayorkas. Your department has already pushed back on that, calling that absolutely false, but he is putting this on you. Can you respond to that, please?
Well, that's a baseless and irresponsible statement, and is one that is unequivocally false.
So he denied that they denied Secret Service support, which was a lie. The Trump campaign already came out and said that. We'll get into. I'll probably have to get into the building of the building, the AGR building. It can give us more in evidence of, who potentially is involved in this. Major corporations. Here's another clue. Austin Private Wealth. Austin Private Wealth is a company that shorted Donald Trump's stock. They shorted it 12 million shares, their biggest short and their biggest trade in general. I believe in the history of their company, it's actually 6% of their company that they bet on Donald Trump's stock being shorted or going down a day before is when the trade was logged. But then they're coming out and saying it was an error. And then they also shorted Rumble stock because Truth Social is very connected to Rumble as far as free speech and anti-censorship. And Rumble's stock was shorted 34 million shares, I believe. So they pretty much bet the bank on the stock going down. And that's very peculiar. Now they're saying they made the trade officially on the 29th of June, and then it actually went through the day before, which is, I don't know, seems kind of slow to me. If you're trading stocks and doing a put option. But hey, I guess that's the story and they're sticking to it, right? Apparently this photo here also was taken of Crooks before he did the shooting, an hour before he shot at Donald Trump. Okay. So very interesting there. And they're saying it was taken from, let me see. So here, they're saying he rode his bicycle around the rally and ditched it in full view of police and a crowd before he climbed on top of the roof and opened fire. He left the bike parked beneath a tree just yards away from the building where he shot from Trump. A witness, or where he shot Trump from, a witness first noticed the bike at 5:30 when Crooks was busy scoping out the perfect spot and more than 40 minutes before the gun shots. Wow. So here's a bike parked by this tree. And I guess the images of him were taken from one of these windows here. This image here. Very interesting. Let's see. Here's people basically debunking the, oh, it was staged. Oh, it was staged. He set somebody up to shoot himself to win the election. He was already up in the polls, so why the fuck would he do that?
Now, with the shooter using an even worse AR-15, it was like an old DPMS, which is just pretty garbage tier, to be honest, and a red dot with no magnification. I'm going to show you exactly what that shot would have looked like from the shooter's perspective, and then you can judge for yourself.
And he had a red dot? Holy shit. If he didn't even have a scope, it's crazy.
So we have our stand-in ballistic dummy target here. 130 to 150 yards is where the shot was taken. Let's go on the inside of that and do 130.
Ain't no way he shot with a red dot. That would be wild.
Just to give the most benefit of the doubt here. Now, with the shooter using an even worse.
So, you know, that was just a little snippet, but you can see what the scope would look like. I mean, hard to get accurate from there. And the shooter was pretty accurate. I mean, he nicked him in the ear, but that was only because Trump turned his head. So the shots that actually hit Trump were actually pretty accurate. All right, now let's break down this audio. This is fascinating, extremely fascinating. And then we'll get into more stuff, but this is the main thing that I wanted to show you guys. And then I'll see if I can find anything else, and then we'll get up out of here.
I'm coming to you today.
Well, sorry. Actually, before we get into this video, guys, support the channel, share the channel, like the video, share the video, participate in the chat, comment in the chat. We're trying to get this message out here. We're trying to get the truth out there, and we need as many eyes on this stuff as possible. Because this isn't over. Okay, yeah, Trump, they tried to assassinate Trump and they failed, but that doesn't mean that they're going to keep or they're going to stop going after him. Because I don't believe they're going to stop going after him. And we need to get to the bottom of this before, they're able to make another play on his life. So make sure you share the video. We're going to go to a brief commercial break. Share the video, like the video. Hit the Cash App, hit the PayPal, support the channel as best you can. Go to the merch store. We'll be right back.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Janquavius Jackson, and y'all already know I'm demonetized and shadow banned in this bitch. So if you want to contribute, go to the Cash App, the PayPal, the GoFundMe, or join the Patreon. Also, don't forget to visit the merch store for all your favorite BGZM News 17 gear, including our exclusive Trump is a Blood t-shirt. Go fast before they sell out. They are already flying off the shelves, no cap. And remember, these super gremlins are on demon time.
All right, guys. So apparently here is evidence of the agents who are actually on the ground, and there are whistleblowers coming out. And this is, all thanks be to God. You have whistleblowers, angry patriots, and people who just want the truth and don't want to be a part of this wickedness in Washington. They're coming out and exposing that Department of Homeland Security put DHS agents instead of Secret Service agents. They gave Trump the B team, and they gave Trump the JV team instead of the varsity team. So this is a letter from Josh Hawley, a senator from Missouri, to Secretary Mayorkas, Alejandro Mayorkas. So, dear Secretary Mayorkas, I write to raise concerns brought to me by whistleblowers about your department's stunning failure to protect former President Trump on July 13, 2024. As Secretary of Homeland Security, you are ultimately responsible for your agency and its components, including the U.S. Secret Service. Whistleblowers who have direct knowledge of the event have approached my office. According to the allegations, the July 13th rally was considered to be a loose security event. For example, detection canines were not used to monitor entry and detect threats in the usual manner. Individuals with proper designations were able to gain access to backstage, or individuals without proper designations were able to gain access to backstage areas. Department personnel did not appropriately police the security buffer around the podium and were also not stationed at regular intervals around the event's security perimeter. In addition, whistleblower allegations suggest the majority of Department of Homeland Security officials were not, in fact, U.S. Secret Service agents, but instead drawn from the Department of Homeland Security investigation. This is especially concerning given the HSI agents were unfamiliar with standard protocols typically used at these types of events, according to the allegations. There's also a video of a man ushering people away from behind Donald Trump right before the shots go off. And it seems as if this guy, he could have been Secret Service or Department of Homeland Security, knew what was coming, and he was moving citizens away from the line of fire. As a member of the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee, which has oversight jurisdiction over your department, I will continue to investigate your department's role in the staggering security failures on July 13th. Unfortunately, your department has not been appropriately forthcoming with members of Congress, abruptly ending the only call with U.S. Secret Service before most senators could even ask a question. This is completely unacceptable and contrary to the public's interest in transparency. Instead, we have learned more from the whistleblowers than your department's officials. I will continue to protect the anonymity and confidentiality of all who contacted my office and ensure that they receive the full protections under the law to which they are entitled, so that my office can continue its investigation into the events of July 13th, 2024. Please provide the following information no later than 7 days from now. 1, how did the Department of Homeland Security determine to staff the event, including any decision to rely on state or local officers? Because now we know there was a drone flown, which is supposed to be impossible. There was a drone flown over the site. What percentage of the DHS agents at the event were from Homeland Security rather than Secret Service? Were a majority of officers at the event drawn from Homeland Security or other Department of Homeland Security components rather than Secret Service? If so, why? Were HSI agents properly trained in staffing these types of events? Did gaps exist in the security perimeter, and were the usual protocols followed for the use of canines and magnometers or magnometers? Were agents not appropriately stationed around the podium? Were the standard protocols followed for issuing designated pins to vetted personnel that are allowed backstage? How long did agents physically spend on the ground surveying the site before the event? Did any paperwork obligations prevent a longer and more robust site survey? I await your response. Okay, so they're pressing them. I want to show the video of the guy who's ushering people away, ushering people out the way. But here's a video of congressmen and women rather pressing Kimberly Cheadle at the RNC. Let's watch.
This is exactly what you were doing today on the call. Stonewalling.
You owe the people answers. You owe President Trump answers.
So they was on her ass.
Left across this plaza.
So they were definitely on her ass, following her, pressing her. And there's even a 4-minute video of them confronting her pretty sternly. Well, if I can find it, we'll go to that. Oh, here we go. Got it. Let's go. And then I'll show the audio of the shooting. So it's hard to understand, but he says all of us were on the call today. We felt very disappointed. So this was the briefing where she hung up on them prematurely.
We were all in the queue trying to answer questions, and until we run out of questions, they hadn't. Every one of us had questions that we wanted to ask.
Every one of us had questions that we wanted to ask.
We didn't get any of the responses that were necessary from you. Very disappointed in your leadership.
Very disappointed in the leadership.
I have called for your resignation, and I rather you resign tonight or start answering our questions
Resign tonight or answer our questions.
right now about the death threat to President Trump and allowing him to go on stage in Pennsylvania at a time when he'd already been alerted that there was somebody with a spotter, all these situations already identified an hour before, and you let him go on stage without the knowledge of him, the team on the ground, and you put him within less than an inch of his life. So resignation or full explanation to us right now.
Mm.
Trying to get our questions out, and he never was running the bomber. It was not a van. The director, he was nearly killed. You knew an hour out you had a suspicious person.
He was nearly killed. You knew an hour out you had a suspicious person.
And at 5:51, according to the timeline of your deputy, you identified a potential threat. And then at 5:53, you told, or someone told, that the sniper that he was there. But can you give us an explanation? Why would anyone allow the president to go on stage when you know you've got a potential threat and you've got snipers that are trained? Why? I don't think that this is the forum to have this discussion.
She says, I don't think this is the forum to have this discussion.
Well, you hung up on. We're here. We're here. You cut off the meeting short. Well, we can find a place to go right now. Where are you gonna go?
All right, we try to
We'll leave you to that. No. We're going with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Afghanistan.
Woo! They on her ass.
No shame, no concern. You answer the anyone? I'm going to tell you the answer. The answer to us. The answer to us. This is exactly what you're doing today.
This was an
Stonewall.
assassination attempt. You
We
owe
did
the
nothing.
people answers. You owe President Trump answers.
Go.
Now, here's something we need to watch for all the pardons that Biden gives. Because he's going to start pardoning the hell out of people now. Because they're in deep dookie. All right. Let's get into this amazing work done by this man here. He will introduce himself. I don't personally know his name. But he does some audio forensics on this. And woo, it is going to be highly educational. Let's watch.
I'm coming to you today with rock solid audio proof that there were at least 2 shooters shooting at Trump and the crowd, and therefore the official story of a lone gunman is complete bunk. Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Chris Martinson of Peak Prosperity. This is Explosive.
Chris Martinson. Shout out to Chris Martinson. We have breaking reports that we may be able to identify. We may be able to identify who this man in the gray suit was. This is all alleged. So I can't confirm that this was him, but there is a video evidence of a man in a gray suit who is getting out of this armored car after the shooting. Right here, you see him. He looks like he's dressed like Secret Service.
This is developing very quickly. It has happened very quickly. As you can see, some law enforcement mowing around there. The crowd not moving, appearing to be stunned, and clearly.
The local.
So there you have it there. All right, let's get back to this audio breakdown.
I'm actually nervous to bring this to you because, well, we know how much the deep state, the state, whatever's going on, does not like having its narratives punctured. But obviously, there's a lot wrong with the Trump shooting. I'm going to show you rock solid evidence today, and I'm making this public. I've been chewing on this for a while. I don't have the complete analysis yet. We're going to need more people to weigh in on this, but let me show you what I've got. So we're going to start here. This is day 3 of the cover up, as we're calling it. And by the way, this is July 18th. I'm going to dedicate this to my brother, John Peter Martinson. He died when he was 23, just a hole ripped out of my heart. And today's his birthday. So I have to make mention of that. So it's for you, John. I know he would have admired this work, and I'm doing this for you. And that's why I'm going to be proud and loud about this. There were 2 shooters. So let's reorient ourselves with the scene again. Let me get my drawing tool out, or my pointing tool. Okay, so first up, they tell us that the shooter was here. This is very accurately located on the roof off of the drain pipe, as we covered before. I'll show you that one more time. I just want to make sure we're all sharing the same orientation, because this is important, right? And we have 2 victims here. Comparator, who died, another guy who's very severely injured. He has life-altering injuries. And then another gentleman back here in the upper right part of the stand. I'm going to show you all this evidence, okay? So first up, we need to know where all the shots went, right? And I'm going to show you that the first 3 shots came from a very different weapon in a different location than the next string of shots that came out. It's either 5 or 6, depending on how you count. But you decide, listen, it couldn't be more clear how different they are. This is the picture from on the roof of, Crooks lying here dead. There's a little blood trailing down back here, but this allows us to locate him on the roof very, very accurately because of the raised seam metal roof. And now the story is that there's actually, you can't see it in this photo, but there's a 5-foot ladder here. Apparently he came up, would have come across, would have jumped down onto here, would have come up. Maybe that explains why his backpack, if that's what that is left there, came over to here. Apparently some other cop would have been lifted up and looked over a roof line. I don't know what that is. Now, even in CNN a while ago, this is from CNN. So I'm saying even because these guys are deep state sort of aligned. Operation Mockingbird. They don't print stuff unless it's pre-approved. So somebody allowed this information to come out. And they said here that the first 3 shots were consistent with weapon A, and the next 5 consistent with alleged weapon B. And the final acoustic impulse emitted by a third possible weapon C. I believe that's true. And weapon C is the sniper taking out Crooks, I think. Best guess. I'll give you my big hypothesis at the end. So this was confirmed. This is per audio analysis by Catalin Gregores, director of the National Center for Media Forensics at the University of Colorado in Denver. So I'm sure that her and Cole Whitecotton, a senior professional research associate, they have much better access to much better analysis software and all of that. All I need to get out to you today is something that seems to be missing from the dialogue, and they're trying to run forward with this lone shooter junk, which of course is straight from their playbook. That's how they did it. That's what they did with JFK. They lied about that. That's what they did with RFK. They lied about that. So this is standard from the playbook kind of stuff. Lone nut with a mysterious motive we can't unravel. We're here to unravel all of that, okay? Rock solid, absolutely conclusive. And this is the best part about being alive today. We don't have to wait for 30, 40 years for a Zapruder film and people to sort of analyze it. We're doing this in real time and figuring this out as it's unfolding. And that is the absolute benefit of living in today's world with all these cell phones and cameras. Much harder to get away with really sloppy operations. And this was a sloppy operation because they missed their man, whoever was involved in this. But I can guarantee you that the information I'm presenting to you, they also have. But somehow they're hiding it, which of course is par for the course with these particular crew of people. Okay, and they said audio analysis has confirmed the gunman was 360 to 390 feet, 3 feet away. Okay, according to another forensic expert, Robert Mayer. Yeah, we all end up in the same ballpark. I end up a little closer to 430 feet, but doesn't matter. All within the realm of analytical wiggle room. Okay, So this is we're going to analyze two separate audio streams today. This is the first one. This is taken from a microphone right in front of the podium. So you're going to hear two things, of course. You're going to hear a snap. Sounds very sharp sound. That's the supersonic crack of the bullet flying within, sending its supersonic shockwave to the microphone. Microphone picks it up like that. And then there's the report of the gun, which follows a little later. Sounds like an echo. So it goes crack thump, crack thump. The crack thump is a well-known tool that snipers would use to estimate how far away somebody is that's shooting them. If there's a
All right, so guys, are you following this? So when you shoot a firearm, you hear the initial bullet leaving the chamber. Obviously, it makes a loud bang, and then there's a supersonic boom crack that comes from the echo of that loud sound. So it's almost like how thunder chases lightning. You get lightning, and then thunder comes, and then you count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and however many seconds it takes for the thunder to hit after the lightning. That tells you how far the eye of the storm is, right? It's almost like that, except it's milliseconds. It's even quicker, and you can see the how the audio reacts in real time with a basic DAW, a basic DAW program, or software, like Ableton. He's using another one, but you could literally do this on hell, you could see the audio files on what is it, the iPhone GarageBand things. You can see all that. So I do want to cut really quickly because I actually found that reenactment video. It's not from, I don't know if this is from NBC. I don't know if it's from NBC, but we also have raw video or raw audio of the police report, the initial report. So let's just go to this one really quickly, just to give you guys an idea of how hectic it was in the visual. Now, this is alleged again, but it could lead to us figuring things out. Now, I don't, like I said, this audio sounds real. I'm not sure if it is real though. So listen up.
Shots fired towards the blue water tank. That's right.
I got one down on the inside. Medical crew, get in command. Chief 12-3, let me know what you need.
All EMS crews, get inside buildings. Stay secure inside buildings.
Total 1 to all units, be advised, we're evacuating. Stay inside the building. We're evacuating the crowd.
Copy. Crowd is evacuating.
Team, to the stage. All units operating Butler Farm Showgrounds. Facilities on lockdown. Everyone stay inside. Operations on fire up 6. All units operating Butler Farm Showgrounds. Facilities on lockdown. Everyone stay inside. Operations on fire up 6.
EMT Caldwell to any connecting units. I have 2 in the bus.
So very interesting there. We also have reenactment of what the shot on President Trump looked like. Let's run this really quickly. Woo! That close. Holy. Oh man. But yeah, let's look at this digital reenactment of how this whole thing went down.
This is the area we're going to focus in on.
Here you can see the 3 victims that were injured by gunfire and where they were standing in the bleachers. We're going to turn around and demonstrate exactly where these bullets came from. This model represents Thomas Crooks. His position can be seen here in this image, which illustrates exactly where he was. Turning around, we can see the path of all the bullets that were fired from this location. I placed a 10-foot red disc downrange to represent what an average shooter could hit easily. Now let's take a look at this first shot fired. Coming from our key location, bullet 1 grazes President Trump's ear. This is the same bullet that hits a spectator in the stands. We know this through video evidence. As President Trump is talking, the first shot rings out just after he says, "Take a look at what happened."
Something that said, "Take a look at what happened."
We can see the vapor trail of a bullet strike, which is the same bullet that struck President Trump's ear a split second earlier, and this video is this location here. Back at the podium, President Trump is shot and grabs his ear, falling to the ground as more shots rang out. In total, there were 7 or 8 shots, so let's rewind and watch this at regular speed.
Take a look at what happened.
With all that gunfire, it's easy to understand how these spectators were injured, even though they were not the target, including the sole spectator who lost his life that day. As we circle around, we can see how all the paths of the bullets were hitting in the location of this forklift machine, causing one of the hydraulic hoses to burst.
So there you have it. All right. Let's get back to this audio analysis. Very interesting. That's the official narrative.
Long distance between the crack and the thump that your shooter's very far away because the bullet flies faster than the speed of sound. So the sound is the explosion of the gun. Boom! That starts traveling towards, the victim down there or whoever's downrange, but the bullet gets there first. And it gets there at supersonic velocity, which means faster than 1,100 feet per second, give or take the altitude and conditions. So if anything's traveling faster than the speed of sound, it has a sonic boom, crack, right? So that's what we're going to hear. You're going to hear first in this tape, you're going to hear 3 very clearly distinct crack thumps. And then things get a little confusing, right? It gets a little fast. And so how do you count and all of that? Whoever put this video together did the counting. Thank you for that. However, I think there's some room for interpretation here as well about that. So without any further ado, this is that
Take a
audio
look at what
we're
happened.
analyzing. Wait. Hang on. I'm going to hear one more. There it was. There's that last one. Okay, one more time.
Take a look at what happened.
Listen to this. You hear that? That's 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then hard to unravel what's happening there because we have echoes. We've got them overstacking each other. So there's 2 supersonic cracks that come in, and later the thumps of the gun come in, the crack thumps. So it gets a little tricky to unravel. So let's do that and go there. Okay. First up, I want to big shout out to Mike Adams at Health Ranger. He was out with this within minutes for those first 3 shots. Clued me in to the idea that we really did need to take a look at the other one. So way to go, Mike. Thank you for picking that up and doing that. All right. This is the audio file. I pulled it into a program called Audacity, right? Off of that video of the gun come in, look at the other one. So way to go, Mike. Thank you for picking that up and doing that. All right. This is the audio file. I pulled it into a program called Audacity, right? Off of that video. And I find on here 9 separate shots. Okay. So I find 3, then a grouping of 5, and then one last one out there. Number 9, I think this is the sniper shot that would have, I think, looks like it took out Crooks just above the left eyebrow. If you want to go look at those, or, the gross pictures, right? Obviously he's all bloody and dead. They have that close-up picture of his face, right? And you can actually see a hole right about here over the left eyebrow. So we have those first 3 shots, then we have the 5, and then that last one. I'm not going to worry about the last one as much, but we're going to have to look at these first sets very, very carefully here. So here is video number 1. Just to orient ourselves, I count off of this video 15.8 seconds from the very first to the very last shot. So the AP article that said, Crooks took a shot and was neutralized by snipers within seconds, what they meant was 15.8 seconds, unless I have this story wrong. Next, we're going to look at these first 3 shots here so you understand how we can analyze the rest of them. And so here's the shot. This is the sonic crack. So that's the bullet is the blue arrows. And then the report is going to be the black arrows. So that's the crack, thump, crack, thump, crack, thump. And of course, it was the first bullet that nicked Trump's ear. And again, let me get my thing here. Here's what it sounds like. Okay, so now I've just isolated the sound. There it is. Okay, whoops, sorry. One last time just to make sure we're hearing this right. There's 0.22 seconds between the crack and the thump, and knowing a little bit about the type of the bullet that was used and the caliber of it and the air conditions and things like that, you can estimate the distance of the shooter and how far away the shooter was. So that 0.22 second gap between the crack and the thump is very important because it helps us identify that a gun is being shot from that distance. If there were any other lengths, like if we saw a crack thump, we would clearly see that that was 2 separate weapons because assuming the first and the last crack thumps were the same distance apart. So if there's any variation between the crack and the thump, that's when you say, oh, that's a different weapon. So that's one way. The other way is just the tenor of just the sound of the weapon. Does it sound different? Now, this is interesting. This woman here had put up a video on TikTok. I really wish we could get the unaltered, I call it unmolested. I don't need all the words put on there. And it's not a consistent video, so there's edits in there. So
All right, guys. Now, this is just breaking news about Biden dropping out. The Obamas have put out a statement and they aren't endorsing Kamala. So, I mean, we might have Big Mike on the table to run. I mean, Michelle Obama. But they're not endorsing Kamala Harris. The Obamas are not endorsing Kamala Harris. Let's read this article really quickly. Joe Biden has been one of America's most consequential presidents, as well as a dear friend and partner to me. Today, we've also been reminded again that he's a patriot of the highest order. 16 years ago, when I began my search for a vice president, I knew about Joe's remarkable career in public service. But what I came to admire even more was his character, his deep empathy and hard-earned resilience, his fundamental decency and belief that everyone counts. This is from Obama. Since taking office, President Biden has displayed that character again and again. He helped end the pandemic, created millions. He helped end the pandemic. Jesus Christ. Created millions of jobs, lowered the cost of prescription drugs, passed the first major piece of gun safety legislation in 30 years, made the biggest investment to address climate change in history, and fought to ensure the rights of working people to organize for fair wages and benefits. Internationally, he restored America's standing in the world, revitalizing NATO, and mobilized the world to stand up against Russia, against aggression in Ukraine. More than that, President Biden pointed us away from the 4 years of chaos, falsehood, and division that had characterized Donald Trump's administration. Through his policies and his example, Joe has reminded us of who we are at our best, a country committed to old-fashioned values like trust and honesty, kindness and hard work, a country that believes in democracy, rule of law, and accountability, a country that insists that everyone, no matter who they are, has a voice and deserve a chance at a better life. So they're spinning this democracy thing, but who has a more democratic process, the Republicans or the Democrats? Because the Democrats haven't let people vote for their nominee in the last 3 elections. So, I mean, they're not really that democratic, and they probably just, went to Joe Biden with a binder full of blackmail material and said, hey, unless you drop out, we're going to start leaking information to the Washington Post or whatever. I also know Joe has never backed down from a fight. For him to look at the political landscape and decide that he should pass the torch to a new nominee is surely one of the toughest in his life. But I know he wouldn't make the decision unless he believed it was right for America. And we all know Joe wanted to stay. His family was saying a couple of weeks ago that he wanted to stay. Hunter was begging for him to stay, Jill as well. It's a testament to Joe Biden's love of country and a historic example of a genuine public servant, once again putting the interests of the American people ahead of his own, that future generations of leaders will do well to follow. We will be navigating uncharted waters in the days ahead, but I have extraordinary confidence that the leaders of our party will be able to create a process from which an outstanding nominee emerges. So they're pushing for this, fight at the DNC. I mean, not fight, but election process at the DNC, which is not going to be an election process. It's going to be an appointment process. But whoever Obama can continue to control, they're going to appoint them to be the Democratic nominee. And they're going to promise them a path to victory. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they keep trying to take shots at President Trump, honestly. So we will be, sorry. Let me just read this again. We will be navigating uncharted waters in the days ahead, but I have extraordinary confidence that the leaders of our party will be able to create a process from which an outstanding nominee emerges. I believe that Joe Biden's vision of generous, prosperous, and united America that provide opportunities for everyone will be on full display at the Democratic Convention in August. And I expect that every single one of us are prepared to carry the message of hope and progress forward into November and beyond. For now, Michelle and I just want to express our love and gratitude to Joe and Jill for leading us so ably and courageously during these perilous times, and for their commitment to the ideals of freedom and equality that this country was founded on. So, I mean, we have some breaking news. Those are the words of former President Barack Obama, basically praising Joe Biden for dropping out when we all know that he pushed him out. And Joe Biden went down swinging for sure. Well, let's keep going.
If it ran from beginning to end, we could tell more, but I'm suspecting that we can tell a lot from it. So we're going to bring it up here because this is one of the only videos that I know about that shows, I think, the first stand victim getting shot. So here we go.
Side of Trump. I'm over on the far right or far left of Trump. These are the same bleachers. Watch the top left. These are the same exact bleachers. These are to the left of Trump. Those shots.
Okay. What I've done here is, so I just want us to look at, I just pulled out that one tiny section. You can clearly see a bullet careening off of this railing up here, and it does it with enough force to atomize and vaporize. And so I think this is an important clue. We'll see. So let's just.
Guys, hit the PayPal, hit the Cash App. This is, I mean, the reporting is going crazy. I see my people in here. Bobby Griffin, modded up. Gliding Mud Shark, modded up. Roger Wood, shout out to you. I know you got to go. But, you know, we loved having you. AK, modded up. Okay, we got Roger W in the building. Stephanie McCoy in the building. Chaotic Truth Live on X. Okay, Main TV in the building. We got some people in. We got some big heavy hitters in here. We got some heavy hitters in here. So shout out to you guys for joining the stream. Y'all are greatly appreciated, because I would not be able to do this without you, because y'all know YouTube is on some BS. They trying to block the message. They trying to block the shine, and they trying to block the grind. You feel me? Like I'm over here sitting here like,
come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Like, damn, YouTube, cut some slack. You know what I'm saying? Cut me some slack, YouTube. Every time I post, you know, I'll see my live viewers and it's 100 and this and 100 and that. And then I'll go to the video and it'll be like 5 live viewers. And I'm like, what? How is that possible?
Gotcha, bitch.
YouTube literally just takes away the views.
Look at that over and over again. Did you see that? Again. See that? Okay, whoops. One more time. And again.
Yeah, so a lot of people are focusing on this area where this bullet came through and hit somebody, or it hit the rafts here.
So you can clearly see this shot happening. Now, this gentleman who's right, and get my laser pointer back. This gentleman right here is in a very, very distinctive American flag shirt of some kind. You can see him hunch over there a little bit, and I'm pretty sure that that shot that you see careening off the rail struck him first. And the reason I think that struck him first, because we showed this before, is from this video that's after the fact. We're on the right side of the stands.
Yep, he hurt.
You can see he's being brought down.
Woo, and I know that shit hurt too. I know that shit hurt.
And you can see here he's holding, get my laser pointer back. He's holding his right chest, holding that, right, with his left arm is coming over. So his right chest, I don't know the extent of his injuries. I can't find any updates in the media right now, so we're going to be watching out for that. But if he was struck in that upper right chest and the bullet still managed to take something off of the railing into a puff, we see a very clear puff there. I don't think that's a 223 round. 223 round, a little 55 or a 62 grain bullet. When they hit, they tend to tumble. This would have to have had enough force to have nicked Trump's ear, if I'm right about this being the first shot, nicked his ear, traveled in, struck this gentleman, and still had enough force to vaporize either the railing or that was the bullet itself atomizing. That was what that gray puff was. More likely that's a larger caliber round, but that's a guess, pure hypothesis, pure conjecture. I'm just throwing it out there as a placeholder, but that would be more consistent with something, say, in a 308, some 30 caliber sort of a round, something with enough energy to penetrate and still atomize and vaporize on the back railing. But again, just a guess. Doesn't matter, just speculation. It's kind of irrelevant. But again, if we're back here, again so I think you can see that puff right there. See that? Oops, sorry. And puff. 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 So he's been hit, and also it's on his right side. So, and if you see how he's oriented, he's all the way up against the back with his right side tipped towards the back. So this is as high up as you can get. Now, the other thing I need to point out about that is he is all the way in the highest row of bleacher seats. Those things start roughly at about stage level, which is about 3.5, 4 feet in the air. And then they go up level. So if you said it's, I don't know, a foot or foot and a half per level, he's clearly many feet up in the air and he's standing. So that bullet that struck him has to be, I don't know, pick a number, 12, 15 feet in the air. Pretty high up, and that's going to become important again in just a second. All right, so this is plausible for the first shot then, okay? We see here if the shots came from the rooftop shooter first, then comes across the podium. Trump would have been standing right about there and could have struck somebody standing in the back right where that gentleman was with the flag shirt who got hit. So that's entirely plausible, but except it's a little bit more consistent with a rising shot, because if we put the podium at about 3.5 feet, 4, let's call it 4, we'll put Trump at 6'3", but take 3 inches off, so 10 feet. 10 feet, that bullet goes whizzing by his ear. But if this is why we need all the trajectories, that's why we need all this mapped out, that's why we need an absolute accounting of every single shot taken. If that was the first shot that struck that gentleman, okay? And that's why if I had that unmolested video and I could piece it in, I could tell you exactly. So hold this as just a bunch of conjecture until we have more. But if that gentleman was struck by the same bullet that took Trump's ear, that means that thing must have been on a rising trajectory, because Trump's at 10 feet. And then further back, this guy, his chest is probably at 13, 14 feet. It's higher in the air.
Woo! So what does that tell you? That these windows right here do not rule out a second shooter, because wouldn't it be perfect? You got Crooks as the patsy on the top, and I've already outlined why he's a patsy. You got Crooks as the patsy on the top of the building. He pops off the shots, of course. And then you've got a Secret Service, Homeland Security, ATF, CIA, FBI agent in here, whatever three-letter bureaucratic agency in the government you want to say. You put them in this room and give them the prime time shot. And you have to remember, these people are occultists, these people are satanic, these people are Satanists, they are evil people, and they love the mystery and creating illusions and making you think that this happened when in all actuality this happened, and they want you to theorize the most implausible, outlandish theories when the answer is there was actually a guy propped up on the window. He had his muzzle barely outside of the window to not to draw any alarm. People are noticing Crooks on the building, and Crooks, is right there. Crooks may not even fired a damn shot. A lot of people are saying Crooks may not even gotten to bus before that Secret Service agent is like, okay, this is the time. Now is the time. Like, they're confirming he's on the roof. He's on the roof. Okay, he's on the roof. He's on the roof. All right, take the shots. Fuck it. That's how reckless and botched this program was, and this assassination attempt was, because Crooks was playing around. Maybe he got cold feet. He was scoping the place out. He was hopping here and hopping there, and maybe But when he got up on that roof, they're like, okay, we have like 2 minutes to pull this off. And the Secret Service agents identified him. They have comms potentially too. They got a radio potentially too. And we know now that the Secret Service and the police were on different comms. They were on a different they're on different radio networks basically. So maybe they got both the radios in there and they're trying to figure out, okay, when the police know here and they're here, and Secret Service knows now. So we have to make this happen now. And by the grace of God, Donald Trump turned his head, and our whole futures were pretty much preserved that day, because we don't know what type of America we'd be living in now if he had been killed. Seriously. And they're still going to keep going after him. So, and they're going to try and cheat in the election. It's going to be a lot of obstacles coming our way in the near future. So let's pray for the best. But let's definitely keep an eye on this investigation and keep reading into this, because he's theorizing what I also had thrown out there too: shooter inside the building, and you have Crooks on top, shooter inside, potentially shooter on the water tower. I think the water tower is definitely still in play, but I think what's most likely, the shots that actually hit Trump and that were the closest came from this window right here, not from Crooks.
That would have been more consistent with a shot fired from lower down that was then rising, instead of a shot fired from the roof, which would have been declining and coming down. We're gonna I'm giving you this because this is going to be in a few slides. You're going to see why I'm making a point about this. Okay, so the audio from video one, when we look at it here, the first three shots we can make complete sense of. Okay, fine. Then there's a fourth shot that arrives, and it does so with the bullet in a report at 0.212 seconds, close enough for government work here, or rough analysis. Here's another bullet and a report, so that's the snap crack. There's echoes. We see there's echoes, so the bullet makes a and then this sound is echoing, probably off of one of the buildings. We have a lot of flat surfaces back there. So the microphone is here, supersonic crack, and the crack makes it to the microphone, and then it echoes off of something. And so we see the crack and an echo. We could probably very, very accurately estimate how far away that flat surface is off of that echo. And then you get the report itself. Crack, thump, crack, thump. So shots 4 and 5, I'm still pretty good with shots 4 and 5 in terms of being able to make sense of them. From 6 on, man, it gets all kinds of weird. And I'm not going to take you through the weirdness from video 1 to try and resolve what's happening with those other shots. We're now going to turn to video 2. This really clarifies everything and makes the entire case. So we'll listen to it up through the shots, which is about 20 seconds of tape. Yeah, I won't take you through all the screaming and everything. And by the way, not for nothing, but screaming, I don't understand people who just start screaming and then just don't stop in an event like this. So listen past this. It's a little, it's you know, there's a lot of screaming going on, but you can clearly hear shots 1, 2, and 3. And then you can hear the other string of shots come out. We're going to analyze it. I'll break it down. We'll take a look at it. However, I do want to pre-stage this a little bit, and for yourself, decide for yourself, does 1, 2, and 3, do they sound the same at all compared to the other ones that you hear? Okay. And remember, we already have the analysis from audio experts elsewhere saying there's a difference between weapon A and weapon B. And I can show you that the rounds fired from weapon B were also aimed at the stage. Okay, so this is important. 2 weapons, one fires a string of 3, another fires a string of 5 or 6, depending on how we count, and off they go. And they were also out hitting the crowd and headed towards Trump. Okay, this is important because now we do not have a lone gunman anymore. Okay, so listen up. Here we go. And then that one more, that's the 6 I'm unclear on. Let's listen to this again. Muffled, and then right? That's what I hear.
Shout out to Jared Texter. He says, I like your channel, and FYI, the commie bastards at YouTube, aka ScrewTube, unsubscribed me from your channel, pricks. Yeah, man, they're some dirty suckers.
And a lot of screaming. Okay, so let's analyze this now. Let's go into this with a little bit more depth. So video 2, the way I score it, there's about 16.0 seconds from first to last shot. So very consistent with what we're experiencing on the first audio. So that's nice. They kind of line up pretty well. And here's the whole audio from all that screaming and the shots from video 2. We have in blue the first 3 shots here. We have more shots here from a second weapon. I'm not sure about this one. It has a very different sound that we heard. And here's the final last shot, which I believe is from, oops, sorry, don't have my thing. You don't know what I'm pointing at. This is the 5 that make a very distinct sound. Here's one with a very different crack in it. That's the 6th shot in the string. And then here we have the final last one, which I think is the sniper weapon, which is probably the one that put the bullet just over the left eye of Crooks on the roof. So we're going to take a closer look at the blue, the red, the blacks here and listen to these things. But once again, let's just listen very carefully, and we'll go back and forth until you're certain of this yourself. Here's just the first 3 shots from that video. I haven't done anything, no audio. I haven't done any enhancements. This is both of these video audio pieces are exactly pulled straight from the video itself. Nothing else. I haven't boosted any. I haven't done any filtering. Raw files. Okay. So, and by the way, every instinct in me was to try and minimize all the screaming, but I was like, nope. That just that, like, what did you do? And then there's questions. These are raw files. Here's 1, 2, and 3 to start. Okay, listen to that again. And one more time. Okay, now let's listen to the next string. Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah, that's now that last one. I mean, that 6th one is crazy. That 6th one is just a totally different frequency, totally different weapon.
Hear that? So 6 sounds different to me, but here's an interesting thing. 1, 2, and 3, besides being muffled and further away, it doesn't have echoes. Here we have, this is a shot here, this one, this peak. Oh, darn it, I don't have my thing up again. Here we go. So this here's a shot. This is an echo. Very clearly an echo, and a shot in an echo, and a shot in an echo. So this is actually critical evidence because you hear that there's echoes coming off. So that also allows us, again, to analyze where was this gun. But first up, we just have an absolutely different sound between the first three. There's no echo. It's much further away. It's more muffled. It's just not in the same place at all. But these next ones, very different sound, totally different weapons. Okay, full stop. We have two separate weapons. Plus, we have no echoes coming off of the first three, and then we do have echoes coming off of the next set.
Yeah. And then 6 is in. I mean, 6 is just completely different weapon. But those first two, those first three came from inside that building. How about that? And the intelligence agents, they're just like, fuck it, we just gotta go. We just gotta go. Because they're, you know, I mean, it very much seems like a botched job, very much seems like a rushed job. The real assassin behind this, the contracted mercenary, might be a DEI hire. You know, since Kim Cheetah loves DEI so much, who knows? But they definitely missed the mark. And this is a monumental failure. And I don't think that they'll stop trying. But Donald Trump needs to get private security. He needs to hire a private firm to vet his government workers as well. They need this thing so squeaky clean. Oh, man. I mean, it's got to be completely revamped.
And that last one, that's different. That's not the sniper shot. The sniper shot is another 10 seconds later. So I don't know what number 6 is here, but we're just going to bookmark it for now and go on. So audio analysis conducted by Nick tells us that if those next string of shots, those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, are coming from shooter, who we're going to call shooter 2, because shooter 1 is sending off those muffled ones. Shooter 2 is very consistent. If somebody was on the roof firing something with a 223 round, those, and here's where audio 2 is recorded from. That we've isolated exactly where the person was standing. They were walking, so there's a little movement, but they were basically right here. The echoes we have is perfectly consistent with conditions, atmospheric conditions of the day, to have bounced off of this building, because that's what you need for an echo. You need a hard, flat surface to echo off of. So that's what we got. We have an echo that perfectly lines up with somebody being up there in shooter number 2 position. Now, here's where it gets a little weirder. So what I've done, and this is, I've taken the first timeline. This is the video number 1's audio, and I've lined it up with video number 2's audio. And for the most part, we're in pretty darn good shape, right?
Yeah, and you can do that you can do that in Adobe Premiere Pro by syncing the audio. You can sync the audio, and what it'll do is, and this is how I edit my videos, because on my other channel, I use my camera and press record there, and then I record the audio because the camera quality is way better when I record it straight from the camera and throw it in, but it takes way longer to upload because the obviously the quality of the pixelation is even higher. But essentially you can synchronize the audio and overlap them. You can do it on any audio software, DAW program, or you can do it on video editing, Adobe Premiere, and you can see the audio wavelengths, and you can compare them, because a gunshot is going to be a consistent, for if it's from the same point and from the same it's from the same vantage point and it's the same weapon, it's going to be a very, very similar, if not identical, audio wavelength. So if you're having different audio wavelengths and different reactions as far as like echoes and that crack boom that he was talking about, that supersonic crack boom, I mean, we have real evidence for a second shooter at least.
Right here you can see, so this is the supersonic crack. So that's the crack of the bullet arriving. And I've lined that up with what I did. I just shifted the timelines to line up with, this is the report of the gun. So the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gun plus the 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've lined up that first blast of the gun with the arrival of the bullet so that it should be consistent, because if you have the explosion, the arrival of it downstream, they ought to line up, right? The timings ought to be the same. So sure enough, shot one, no problemo, lines up perfectly. This is an echo up top there. Here's the echo down here for shot one. The top bullet is echoing off of whatever it's echoing up there near the stage. And this is echoing probably off of that building surface we just showed you. So shot one, 100%, we're good to go. Shot two, same thing, lines up perfectly. It's got an echo right here. That's that little peak right there. And it's got an echo up top. Everything lines up. Shot three, though, remember, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one doesn't line up. This one is actually, this shot happens about 0.03 seconds earlier. There's not alignment. It should be right under this peak, but it's not, which means the shot happened 0.03 seconds. It took 0.03 seconds longer for that bullet to get downstream.
Woo,
right?
that's crazy.
To the microphone in front of the Trump platform there. What does that mean? Well, that means that it's somewhere between, depending on the caliber and maybe the caliber. I don't have any bullets here. I can't guarantee anything. Depending on a lot of things, the muzzle velocity of whatever this projectile was, and things like that. That 0.03 seconds, assuming it's 2,600 feet per second, that's how fast this thing's traveling. Could be 2,500, could be 3,000. I don't know what they're using, so you have to make some guesses. But it's further away. This implies the possibility that shots 1 and 2, those are fired by Crooks, but somebody about 78 to 100 feet further away took shot 3. Then shots 4 and 5 line up again perfect.
So 78 to 100 feet away. I mean, guys, 78 to 100 feet away. Where is that coming from? Where is that coming from? Right? I mean, he's saying one of those, the first two shot by Crooks, which is fine. And then this one was shot 70 to 100 feet away. So what else in that area is approximately 70 to 100 feet away? Remember, here's Crooks, obstructed from the view of counter sniper team 1. Here he is. What other vantage point is 70 to 100 feet away? What's a perfect vantage point to get shots up at the rightful president, Donald Trump? And he's right here. And Crooks is right here. 70 to 100 feet away. The water tower. The water tower is still in play. But I still believe that there were shooters in the building as well. So we just have to figure out, who shot what. We have to see the ballistics. We need that evidence.
Perfectly. But shot 6, hey, that's off the mark again by the same amount. And, there's not quite the echoes that are happening off of shot 3. We don't see the same. There should be an echo right here. There should be an echo right here. We don't see that, not like these big echoes. So there's a chance here. I'm making a chance that there's a possibility of there were 2 weapons being fired that are different from the first one. 1, 2, 3 are from weapon 1. Weapon 2 for sure is in a different spot, but there's a possibility because of those times of weapon 3. So it could be that 1, 2, 4, 5 were taken by Crooks on the roof because he heard some stuff going on, decided to take his shots, but 3 and 6 were taken by somebody else another 100 feet away. I don't know. We're going to need more professional audio analysis, but I like it when everything lines up, and everything does line up until we get to there. And then further down the timeline, things get really weird, and things aren't lining up, but we don't know who's firing down at that end of the spectrum either. So some weird stuff down there, but it doesn't line up really well enough for my taste. Okay, so hypothesis. What do we have here? Okay, here's the hypothesis. At least 2 shooters, maybe 3. Don't know. The first 3 shots I suspect, my hypothesis is they came from inside the building. All right. They were inside that, like if Crooks was on the roof, open the window, those shots came in from down below. Why do I think that? Because that ensures that the crack boom are consistent with the Patsy on the roof. The angles are the same. The crack boom isn't off. There's nothing to analyze, right? If those first 3 shots come out from below Crooks, then it all lines up, right? And this aligns with what we have from video number 2's audio, where it's more distant, it's a muffled sound that would be more consistent with being inside. We don't have it's also the upward slope of that bullet, right? Now that begins to line up if it's true that that back victim was struck with bullet 1, and also all the lack of echoes. So everything's consistent with that hypothesis, and it's just a hypothesis. I'm just trying to, put some meats on the bones of what might have happened here, because I know for a fact we had 2 guns, period, maybe 3. I could make a case for 3. I'm not as solid on that. I'm going to wait for expert analysis, but we don't need any further expert analysis to understand there were 2 weapons being fired at the stage, right? Because here's what happened. These next string of shots down here, which I'm highlighting, this is the recording from video 2. This is video 2's, audio 2, video 2. Video 1, which is taken from the microphone right at the front where Trump is, these are sonic signatures. So these booms led to these cracks, right? These explosions of this weapon resulted in bullets making sonic booms right over the microphone down at Trump stage. So let's be clear. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wasn't like, because I can hear it already. They're like, the Beaver County Emergency Services Unit saw him and climbed up and blah, 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 blah. Really, I guess that's what it was. That's not what it was. This second weapon that was fired, leaving the echoes and that sharper crack, that was fired towards the stands. So we have 2 shooters, guaranteed, full stop. Okay. In the second group of shots, I'm positive that 1, 2, 4, and 5, pretty sure those were fired by Crooks. Lines up with everything, the echoes, and the snaps recorded downrange, all that. Now, shots 3 and 6 are puzzling. Again, expert analysis will be required here, not me. I'm just a doof with audacity and some common sense. But their delayed arrival downrange suggests they were taken 78 to about 95 feet further back than Crooks' position. That would be consistent with somebody being on one of those other roofs just behind him, just in case of mission failure, I guess. I don't know. So my conclusions for today, there are at least 2 distinctly different weapons being fired, at least 2. The first 3 shots further away than the weapons that fired the next 5 to 7 shots because they're muffled. The sonic cracks tell us that everything was fired in Trump's and the audience's direction. That means they weren't taking out Crooks with these shots. This means the lone shooter theory is 100% false. And I can't be the only guy who's done this analysis. And how is it possible that we even had CNN saying, experts tell us there were at least 2 weapons, probably 3 with that last final sniper shot, maybe 4. So this tells us that this was a full-on operation. These are the questions that need to be asked. I fear for my safety and everybody else's safety for coming out with this stuff, because one thing we know, they don't like loose ends in these stories, but man, they bollocksed this operation up really badly. Whoever was in charge of it, probably already floating in a river. I don't know what's going to happen to them, because they really messed this operation up. It was sloppy. It left all kinds of traces and signatures. And it's very clear that they should have never held that rally in that location. Everybody I've talked to who's professionally trained, and I'm going to get somebody on the program here to talk about this, you would never do it the way that was set up. You had the lines of sight were all wrong. You were too many open places, that the perimeter was too tight. Like everybody, they had 2 sniper teams only 40 yards apart. No, you put them really far apart.
Right.
The perimeter was way too into. Anything out. We were in charge of up to 100 yards. That 140-yard building, that was the local police. There was a gym that was 400 yards away. Normal perimeter is 400 to 500 yards. Okay, for an operation like this. So everything stinks to high heaven. We already know that, but it's bizarre to me that we're able to determine here with our Comcast connection that there were at least 2 weapons, and that's just confirming something that's already out there in the public space. This needs to be talked about. Share this as widely as you can. I decided to put all this out public today. There's no further analysis today for my Peak Prosperity subscribers. So this is it. Just, I had to put this all out there. And hey, happy birthday, John. I love you, brother, and I miss you. With that, thanks very much.
Mm. So that was very informative there. Wow. And I mean, more is coming out. More is coming out. I'm going to bring you guys as much as I'm able to research and I'm able to go into the rabbit hole. And we'll see what comes of it. We will see what comes of it. But I think the deep state is very much afraid of Trump. I think they want to shut him down. I think they want to delete him. I think they want to take him out. Again, here is the video of the Secret Service agents. This is counter sniper team 1, right? They're locked in. And if you just watch it, that's where Trump looks at the counter sniper team. And then one of them bucks. Look, he looks up. He thinks he's getting shot at. And boom, they ducking down. So where did this shot come from? I think that was a distraction shot so that they couldn't take Crooks out as quickly as possible. Throw him off. Here's that video from behind that I showed you guys, or that I told you guys about. I don't know why. Now all the videos that I was looking for are just coming up. But here's a video of the Department of Homeland Security / Secret Service agent ushering people away from the exact angle or one of the angles where the bullets might have ricocheted or flied through.
To our country, probably 20 million people.
Look at this. He's telling people to move from behind Trump.
And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
So he gets down. And watch. This agent didn't jump to the stage. He's still there. Watch. There he goes right here. Shouldn't he be over there helping the president, not cowering away like a... Wow, man. I mean, this thing was an inside job if I ever seen one. Holy crap. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Here's the CBS animation. Now everything that I was looking for is coming up. That's crazy. All right, I'm not going to play this music, but here's a CBS animation. So they got Crooks on the roof. Notice how they do have the water tower right here. He's shooting. Boom. Whizzes past Trump's ear. You see that? I don't know why they're doing this B-roll. Counter Sniper Team 1 and 2, you see? That was Counter Sniper Team 1 that they just showed. They're just showing the layout. So, whoo! This stinks to high heaven. We got Jesse Waters' interview with Trump premiering on Fox News, I think today at 8 p.m. or tomorrow, today or tomorrow at 8 p.m. He speaks about the assassination attempt. I can't wait to watch that whenever that premieres. We got a lot going on. You know, maybe next time we'll do a follow the money episode where I follow just what financial moves were made against Trump before the assassination attempt. That one is going to be really spooky. But hey, fuck it, we live. But anyways, I appreciate everybody for joining the stream. This was a long one. It was a detailed one. We want to put out as much information on the failed Trump assassination attempt as possible to protect his life. at this point, the truthers, the people who are putting out real news, we are the insurance for the United States of America. I really believe that. And if we don't continue to put out truthful information and have an unwavering thirst, hunger for the truth, then we're going to be up shit's creek without a paddle, as the old country folk down here in South Georgia say. So I appreciate everybody for taking their time out to check out the stream. Make sure you watch it back. Make sure you share it. Make sure you clip this thing up, man. Clip it up and share it. Where are all my, cult-like followers who are clipping my stuff and reposting it? We need that. We need that type of motion. Nah, but seriously, I appreciate everybody out here. Cop the merch. Make sure that you like the video, share the video, comment immediately after the stream, guys. If you comment on the YouTube channel immediately after the stream, that really helps me out. That really helps me in the algorithm. Okay, so give the thing some rhythm. Like, share, comment. Just tell me how you like my work. Tell me if you think I'm awesome. Throw your theories out there in the comments section, because we need to get to the bottom of this. But y'all already know I appreciate everybody who joined the stream. We are going to send it off because, I'm tired. But we're going to send it off to Jinquavius to take us away. This is the Black Gen Z Mindset, a.k.a. BGZM News 17, a.k.a. Jinquavius Jackson. And, man, this is spooky. We are in weird times. But these super deep state gremlins are on demon time.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Jinquavius Jackson, and y'all already know I'm demonetized and shadow banned in this bitch. So if you want to contribute, go to the Cash App, the PayPal, the GoFundMe, or join the Patreon. Also, don't forget to visit the merch store for all your favorite BGZM News 17 gear, including our exclusive Trump is a Blood t-shirt. Go fast before they sell out. They are already flying off the shelves, no cap. And remember, these super gremlins are on demon time.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Medgar Evers, and it's a very tranquil scene compared to just a couple hours ago where a drive-by shooting just took place. Excuse me, I'm getting live updates as we speak. I've just been updated to the amount of casualties from this drive-by shooting, and I'm getting reports that 2 people were actually declared deceased and 27 others were shot and injured but are in stable condition. And although we must pray for the families of the fallen, we must also praise God for the aim of the super gremlin. If you want to know more about the victims of this crime, make sure you add BGZM News 17 on Patreon at www.patreon.com/BlackGenZMindset. Also, don't forget to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and comment on the video to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this gun violence in the streets. For more hard-hitting news coverage from the community, by the community, I'm Jinquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
And cut.
All right, dogs. Let's get the out of here before these niggas come back.
Whoa. Yo.
Whoa.
Ain't that nigga J?
Nah, that ain't me. That ain't me.
He just went live
That
with
ain't
that
me.
funky ass suit on.
That's that nigga. That's not me.
Hey, get that nigga.
Jinquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia. Pray for me.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
So it is what it is.